Day by day, he was slipping away from them, and at the moment, she hadn't a blasted clue what to do about it.
You fucked up, Cat Swain. That is right. Welcome back to the Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The book club. This is the show where we talk about a book. This time, it's The Gathering Storm, the 12th book, our 13th, but the 12th book in The Wheel of Time. We did the prequel already.
You're right.
New
you're right.
spring. It was very good.
You're right.
Let's get into week 2 of The Gathering Storm, which is as good as week 1, but we're going to talk about some things that are starting to, some red flags that I'm starting to pick up on in this book.
Red flags.
Yeah, but before that, we got some housekeeping. Sorry that we're late today, y'all. By the way, my name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
If you've never seen the show before, why are you starting with this one? But we should throw our names out there.
I guess, yeah. Maybe watch episode 1 or I don't know. Is it weird? Does anyone go back and watch the earlier ones? Like, how
episode 1 has like
different-
26,000 views or something like
How
that.
different is it? Is it like, were we like babies? Were we so innocent?
Yeah, because we didn't know anything about the series.
No, I
Now we know too much.
We've seen too much.
But sorry it's a later start today. Clarus had a callback this morning, so everyone be very proud of her.
Yes. I wore my lucky pants.
You did wear your lucky pants?
Yeah. Whenever I get booked, I usually end up wearing those pants. Or, like, in either my audition or callback, I have worn those pants. So.
Yeah, Clarus's voice is a little rough today because yesterday was May the 4th, and we celebrated Star Wars very hard at Offworld with our raffle winner, Fanta. Thank you for the people who joined the raffle.
Hell yeah.
And to Karlak, who was also there last night. It was so wonderful to meet you. And yeah. Clarus, how you feeling?
You know, I would have definitely...
I'm going to move the mic a little bit closer to you today.
Oh, yeah, I would have liked a little more sleep last night.
Did you have a hard time falling asleep?
No, but we got home late.
We did get home late. Yeah.
We had much fun was had. It was a good time. If you're, full mic in the camera. If you're ever in Toronto, Offworld Bar is fucking fantastic. We love a nerd bar.
We do. Offworld in Toronto is an incredible location.
Yeah, we also have, actually, I'm going to pull up the link here so I can drop it in the chat. But we've got an announcement about the relay, if you haven't seen already.
We found our final member for the roleplay relay.
Hell yeah.
That's right. Jillian Foxglove is going to be our 8th player, our 10th member of the on-camera crew. So if you don't know who Jillian Foxglove is, go follow her on all of her socials. She's an incredible lady, and we're very lucky. For those of you who don't know, the roleplay relay was announced last week. We're doing a 7-day, 24/7 consecutive Dungeons & Dragons stream. As someone explained it to me last night, at 168 hours, we're doing a half a critical role in one straight sitting.
A half a critical.
We're doing a half a campaign of Critical Role in one sitting.
I don't like it when you put it like that.
I know. It's fun, right? Yeah. So that's coming July 29th to August 5th.
Yeah.
So,
guys, it's going to be fun. Y'all are not ready. Like, it's going to be fucking bonkers. Go follow Jillian. She's the best.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel much better than you do. I'm good. We were sick earlier in the week. I'm like back to like, I'm riding high. So
I don't like feel that bad. It's just like my voice is like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. We can hear it.
Sorry.
Love you.
I love you.
But yeah, everyone's saying that we're mad. We are mad. We are mad.
Correct.
Yul Rakino says, how do we watch it all too? We need sleep. Well, we're going to be doing constantly like recaps that will be up on YouTube throughout the thing. So you can watch like the latest recap and catch up to the live. And then afterwards, it is all going to go live. So I think that like we're going to do it in like 3-hour episodes that will go up as podcasts and as YouTube videos. So for the people who aren't able to be there for all of it live, I understand. The finale of it will be Saturday at 5 p.m. So I'm hoping that will be the lead up to the finale. Everyone will be able to be there for that and kind of catch up as they go along.
Yeah.
But the goal of it is to do something unhinged and fun and maybe set a Guinness World Record. We're talking with Guinness to see if we can do that. So we're hoping that we're going to have a Nerdy Nightly Guinness World Record this summer.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, we're going to do our best to make sure that the audience can follow along as in the same way that the players have to follow along, because they're not going to be on camera the whole time as well. So
yeah, it's going to be a good time.
It's gonna be a good time.
How are you feeling about this week's reading of The Gathering Storm?
It's so good. I'm very happy.
Happy? Happy's not the emotion that I would attribute to this week's reading.
Sorry, I'm not happy about what happened in the reading. I'm very happy that the last couple books reading them have been like, okay, cool, like getting through it. Mm-hmm. And finally in this book again, I have that like, I don't want to put this down feeling. Yeah. So I'm happy about that, I should say.
Arzu, thank you for gifting 5 memberships to the community.
Arzu, thank you so much.
I'm still very much enjoying this book. I think this book is very good. Oh, one of our mods got a membo.
Let's go. Now you can go watch the reaction we posted yesterday.
Yeah, we posted 2 audiobook reactions to chapter 22 and 23, which I think we'll talk about when we get to those chapters. Instead of talking about them now and at the end, which we sometimes do and always... Because then we don't know what to talk about at the end of the podcast. I very much am still enjoying this book. I think it is very well written. I like what Brandon Sanderson is doing in the sandbox of Robert Jordan's world. Mm-hmm. And I like the mesh of their 2 voices together.
Yeah.
This week, though, I did feel a little bit of there are a few too many plot lines nag of like almost so every chapter this week is a different point of view.
Or several point of views.
Yeah. And I am hoping that I'm hoping that we're quickly coming to the end of that, because this week felt a little bit less focused than last week did.
Yeah.
And particularly with some of the storylines that is really just what is going on with people.
Yeah.
The Perrin and Fail stuff was a little bit... It was reflective of previous books in a way that I was like, cool. Like, it was good stuff, but also
together.
Like, it was just kind of its own thing.
Yeah, we need to have the threads start to come together.
Auntie Angervo, thank you so much for those 5 memberships. That's so kind of you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Hell yeah. So many green names in the chat.
But yeah, I definitely felt the bounce around this week, more so than previous weeks. Even though I liked all of the events, I did notice in the reading that I was like, oh, and another place, and another place, and another place.
That also feels more like Brandon Sanderson. Like, other than the prologue... I like Robert Jordan did not jump around inside of chapters as often.
I don't think it's Brandon Sanderson's fault though, because I think that
it's a style choice.
I don't even think it's a choice. I think it is a necessary thing that he is doing to wrap up what was a complaint about the previous 4 books doing this, but every 5 chapters. Mm-hmm. I think there's just simply too many plot lines. They're not connected to one another, and some of them, like Matt's chapter and Perrin's chapter, aren't really about very much of anything, in my opinion. Like, they're about those characters and where they are.
It's a connective tissue, yeah.
But those were the ones where I was like, okay, like, this was a whole chapter about we're still just kind of moving this forward.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for all of these plot lines to really be about the main narrative of the books again.
Yeah.
And which I kind of felt last week. I felt like the first 12 chapters really did that very well. Yeah. And this week I just was feeling it a little bit. I was feeling the lag of the slog still tugging at this book a little bit. And
also having people in different times is a little funky. Like last week, there was that whole thing where like Perrin is at a completely different point in time.
Yeah.
Than other people. So I think that actually amplifies that as well.
Mm-hmm. J. Allen Bennett in chat says, yeah, epic stories do be epic in the storylines. This is an epic yay for that. I think that you can have multiple storylines and still have them be connected to the main narrative. And I think that what is pulling me away is that the pull away to other storylines is pulled away to a storyline that isn't in motion in any way. Like the Perrin Fail giving a funeral to Roland.
That was like a closure thing. Yeah, it was not it wasn't really like a step forward. It was like acknowledging that we're finished with this. I think it was like Brandon Sanderson being like, thank God we're done with the Shido.
But in my opinion, it was closure that I didn't need. Like the ending Roland's narrative as if what Roland did was totally like he was a great guy felt strange to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, I definitely don't agree with that.
Like Roland's last act as a person was to grope 5 women as he saved them against, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like for his remembrance to be this very sincere, kind of beautiful scene that glossed over that up until his final moments, he wasn't a great guy. And like his motives for Fail and her friends were never sincere or like kind-hearted.
Yeah.
He never treated her as more than an object to be won. And so the idea that like, oh, the brotherless, like they did this out of the goodness of their hearts, and this funeral scene that was like beautifully done. I felt odd about it because it felt like it was memorializing someone for a version of themselves that we never saw.
I think what it is, like when somebody dies at a funeral, unless they are terrible, people generally tend to bring up and remember the parts about them that were positive, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's the women in this scene choosing to remember these people for the like small amount of kindness that they were shown, even though they maybe weren't the best people, even if maybe some of the motives were selfish. Their life in that camp would have been worse, if there was no one to stop the abuses of that. And so I think it's almost like rose-tinted glasses kind of thing because they're dead.
Yeah.
Like, and so that honestly felt very human. I was reading it being like, rolling, what a fuck. Mm-hmm. But like, I understood why the characters had this moment. And I think that it's going to set up their relationships to one another for all coming together for the final battle.
And I agree with that. What the thing that feels out of place in it for me is how much 15 chapters into this book, we are still having these scenes that are reflecting on previous books and totally. on the many, many plots of previous books.
And that's why it feels like, oh, we're jumping over here now. Mm-hmm. And I definitely am not saying that feeling is wrong. But I did find this scene particularly interesting because my first impulse was like, Roland, what a fuck. Mm-hmm. But taking a moment, I was like, I'm not Fael. I was not in this situation. And like, it was, I will use lesser of two evils, even though Roland was probably not like inherently evil. He just wasn't like the best dude.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that.
He just acted selfishly with Fael because he wanted to fuck her, and that is what it is. Yeah. But it did save her and probably her companions a lot of grief.
Oh, and I think the funeral scene is beautifully written.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that the scene is bad. It's that in this week of reading, we read 10 chapters that felt like 10 different things. And that's the only negative I can say about this week of reading. I really like this book, and I like all of the chapters individually. Yeah. Sometimes they don't come together in a way that feels super satisfying.
Yeah, totally fair.
Especially when Rand's storyline is moving forward so quickly and everyone else seems stalled. That it's tough.
It definitely pulls back on the reins for those jumps away.
Well, and the stakes in Rand's storyline are so high every second, and the stake in everybody else's storylines kind of aren't. Like, the stakes of the Matt chapter is, oh, Matt was a little bit angrier today than he usually is. And that's the stakes of that chapter. Perrin is kind of arguing with Hopper in his dreams. And Fael goes to do a funeral for someone who died last book.
No, I think that the dream thing is finally, like, Perrin's skills being put into, like, shifted into gear. Like, actually, that feels very important to me, and the stakes. I agree that the Fael aside and the Matt aside, maybe not so much, but...
But my point is that it's important in, like, his internal journey, but in terms of the stakes of his storyline, the Shido aren't chasing them. It's very low stakes. And, like, a lot of these characters are in very low-stakes positions. And Rand is, like, trying to contemplate torturing the Forsaken, who breaks up. Like, it's just that, like, it's this weird tension of the main plot of these books is so good right now and is moving forward so quickly. And all of the other plots still kind of feel stuck at the end of Knife of Dreams. Like, they haven't, like, gotten into their next book yet. And I'm just kind of, like... It kind of feels like Perrin and Fael are in a denouement phase of their Knife of Dreams storyline finally that I feel like could have happened at the end of last book. And everyone, and part of that is the fact that they're months behind, right?
Yes.
Perrin and Fael's storyline is literally behind everybody else in time as well as in, like, pacing. And so that's the only thing that's tugging at me, that I'm like, Matt needs to fucking get somewhere.
Yeah.
Matt needs to fucking get Matt on the road with his band and him being upset. Like he needs to just get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And because Rand is right. Rand is everywhere. Rand is teleporting around to 19 different countries, doing all of these things, and Matt is still fucking on the road.
Yeah.
You know, and so when we cut to him, I'm like, fuck, like our other characters are literally fighting gods, and Matt is still walking.
It seems like, and maybe there's stuff that like could be like shipped around or cut out, but it does at least feel like they are like moving in a direction to bring people together, right? Even Perrin is like, I need to find Rand.
Yeah.
And I think Matt's obviously gonna go get Moiraine. So it feels slower in comparison, but they're definitely moving towards something. They don't feel like stagnant.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for them to get into their next plot lines. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited for some characters to come together. You know, like let's get into the chapters. Let's start talking about it because I think that as we talk about the chapters, I'll talk more about my feelings as we go. So we get the first chapter, an offer and a departure. This is our necessary one mention of Gawain per book, where Gawain is doing something every book. No, he was in the prologue, right? Kind of running away from Gareth Bryne's forces.
Yes.
So Gawain is just beating the shit out of warders 2 at a time, who have superpowers. So how good a fighter is Matt?
Matt is god tier level.
As we got into like him fighting Sleet and Marlesh, I was like, Gawain is a fucking god.
Yeah.
And Matt can beat him and Galad at the same time.
Yeah, like the warders have like increased dexterity and awareness and reflexes, and Gawain is like poo 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 poo. Like, so Matt with his quarterstaff must be fucking like god tier level.
Yeah.
To beat him and Galad.
Yes.
Galad just fucking like murked Valda.
Gawain murked Valda, who's
Galad.
a heron. Sorry, yeah, Gawain murked the
yeah. I was like, oh wow, Matt is literally the creator. Fuck, Bella is not the creator. It's fucking Rand or Matt. Let's be honest. Like
literally.
Yeah.
This scene is great. I do like that Gawain is as competent as he is. It does lead into like how he beat Hamar in the tower. Like it does track with the storylines we've heard of him. It just makes that one scene with emaciated, underfed, like half mad Matt kind of hilarious now. Where I'm like, how did you guys lose that fight? But you can beat every Blade Master across the entire fucking country.
Yeah.
Like Heron-marked Blade Masters die to Galad and Gawain constantly in this world.
Yeah, and even then, I think it was Gawain. Gawain's like, no, I haven't earned the blade.
Yeah, it's interesting that you either have to take a test or kill somebody.
I mean, that's basically a test.
Yeah.
Just a more dangerous one.
My favorite thing about the beginning of this chapter was Sleet having this like crazy story that he comes to town with.
I know.
But that he doesn't want to tell anyone because he's like, I do this shit all the time. But
I could do this all day.
Half wounded, made it into a city, fucking like gets rejuvenated by the mayor's daughter who falls in love with him, and he has to flee in the night because he kind of loves her back.
To Viren.
I was like, holy fuck, this is like a novella that I would happily read.
Right? But it's just the fucking Tuesday for a warder.
But like, it's a paragraph in the fucking Wheel of Time.
It's like, goddamn. But yeah, Gawain kicks ass, and Sleet is like, hey, you want to be a warder? Gawain is like, shit.
Do you want to be a warder to the second worst Aes Sedai?
Basically.
And Gawain's like, no, I'm good.
No, I'm
why would I hitch my wagon to the second weakest person in the Aes Sedai?
I don't know. He's like, because people disregard her, she can get more shit done, and nobody cares if she comes or goes. I was like, sure. Yeah, I guess that's like not a terrible argument.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if you are that low in the power, the Greens maybe isn't the Aja for you.
Maybe she's a support Green.
Yeah, but if you like, here's the thing: if you're gonna be a battle Aes Sedai, you have to be able to channel. Like, you have to be... No, but she's so... Like, she's weaker than...
There is a minimum level of power you have to get to be... Yeah,
it's Daigen, and we know that Daigen can barely form weaves. Daigen can't even make a gateway.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone can make a gateway, but yeah. I see your point.
So, like, if you're gonna be, like, a Battleaja, I feel like you need to have people who can, like,
Here's the thing, you
battle.
only need to be good as a Battleaja if the last battle comes. Now, granted,
the whole point of your existence.
It's on its way. But, you know, maybe they thought, oh, no last battle in my lifetime, so I'll just become a green and have it nice and easy with my harem. You know?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
That's just a guess.
I was like, oh, Hattori, she's a green. She must be pretty powerful. Because, like, you're going to go into fights with the one power. You're going to want to be able to use it. She's like, nah, I just, like, direct my warders real well.
Yeah, got that big brain.
Baka card says 3,000 years of coasting. That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. So Gawain goes to check on his scouts around the town. And he sees Katerin is in the main house talking to the people. And he's like, wait, Katerin didn't enter the town. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Aleda has traveling.
Oh, no.
Which is...
We knew that.
That's a big oh no.
Yeah, but we knew that.
No, because we knew that she knew. But when she found out, she's like, I'm not going to tell very many people. And so the fact that Aleda has started to share that around is dangerous, right? Like, that does increase... I'm going to scooch over a little bit. You know, that increases the level of danger for our main characters now that Aleda is finally, like, unclenched her claw on that information, has shared it, and has her people using it, right? Like, that is a big change from a book ago when she knew it but didn't do anything with it.
It's probably just the Reds that she's sharing it with. Still bad. Not good. Very, very bad, no good.
Very bad, no good, yeah.
But, Gawain over here, he's like, hey, I'm the commander here. I should be allowed in the room when you're planning shit. And they're like, no, fuck you.
They're like, ha,
and they,
funny,
like,
boy.
Slam the door in his face. And he's like, okay, well, that's fucking weird. And then he overhears that Egwene is the Emerald seat of the Saladar barbarians. And Gawain rides off into the sunset, basically.
Not fully. He talks to Sleet first, who, like, looks in his eyes and figures it out immediately, because that's how information is passed in the Wheel of Time, is just looking at people's faces and being like, I know exactly what you're going to do.
Yep.
And
facts.
He's right. Gawain is like, okay, well, I got to go. Who's he going to? Because it doesn't say.
I think he's going to Gareth Brine. Yeah. Gareth Brine can fill him in.
It's either Gareth Brine or Elaine. He's either going to Camelin or he's going to Gareth Brine. I think it's Gareth Brine.
I think it's Gareth Brine. Yeah. But Elizabeth Sleet is like, how long should I wait before I tell your people you're not coming back?
Slickjack says, was it Aleda who spread traveling around the tower or Alviarin? It's definitely Aleda in this case.
I believe it's Aleda. I believe
Katerin
she shared it with her.
Literally spreading Aleda's word to her faction, right?
The gospel word of Aleda.
It would be very weird for Katerin to learn it from Alviarin, but be, like, spreading Aleda's messages.
Unless Katerin is also a black, right? Because Alviarin learned it from Masana.
Yes.
So.
But Alviarin's not in the White Tower right now.
No, but I'm saying Masana could have taught it to Katerin.
Or Alviarin is in the White Tower. No.
But then she would have had to tell people she knew it.
Aleda is... These women are working for Aleda.
Yeah.
So, like... I think it would be very weird if Alviarin was having Aes Sedai send messages to Aleda's people to not do anything. Like, I don't... When we know that Aleda's trying to get Gawain and his younglings killed.
Yeah.
So, like, this plot is all tied up in Aleda. I think it would be very weird if it wasn't her.
Yeah, I think it would be a bit weird as well.
And also, like, how would Katerin hide that she's traveling in and out of the tower?
Yeah, like, she's going to collect tribute for the tower.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think it has to be Aleda.
Mm-hmm.
There is like a 1% chance that maybe Masana taught it to her, but I doubt. I can't see that.
Christian Rapper says, how did everyone in the world know that Egwene was the head of the rebels except Gawain? That's a great fucking question. Dorlin does not get news, apparently. There's no local paper. The New York Times does not have a subscription service there.
Doesn't distribute there, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is actually really terrible at their local Starbucks, so not a lot of information gets in and out because there's a lot of home Wi-Fi networks.
Of course.
In Dorlin.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gawain leaves to go do the right thing. He doesn't take the younglings with him because they serve the Emerald seat, which is a big question right now of who that is.
Yeah, because Egwene is fucking logicking.
We'll get to Egwene.
Mm-hmm.
But first, we have to get to Gathering Storm Chapter 14. A box opens.
Giggity.
Sorlia and Cad Swain are talking to Semiraj. It's all from Cad Swain's point of view, and we learn that Cad Swain is a terrible fucking person who believes that she is above everybody else, and she has finally found an equal in Sorlia, which is, if any person ever says anything like that, just know immediately they're not a good person. If you think that you're above other people because you're older or because you're like good at something, you're a piece of shit. And you should acknowledge that everybody has different values to the world. And just because you're really good at one thing does not mean that you know everything.
Today is going to be mostly nerdy ranting about Cad Swain. Just so you know.
Yeah, earned. It's earned. I finally have an equal as I stand above the rest of humanity. Like, fuck off. I hate people like that. It's the same people who are like, I'm a doctor, so I'm better than a bricklayer. And I'm like, oh yeah, doctor, build me a fucking house. We all have different uses to humanity, and we all have different skills and intelligences. And just because you're smart in one way does not mean that you're smarter in every way than everybody else. And like people who can't see the value of that,
Dakuna.
it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
And like we'll talk about it. She gets her fucking comeuppance, and it goes exactly the way that you think it should. Dakuna says, whereas Nerdy is above other people because he is 6'4". I mean, yes, I'm physically tall, but I hit my head a lot. There are downsides.
There are downsides.
And like, it's important to acknowledge those things. You know what I mean? It's important to acknowledge the value of others. And Cad Swain doesn't do that, and she pays the price for it here. Mm-hmm. Finally.
Yeah.
If Michael L says, while I didn't always like Cad Swain's tactics, I never thought she was a bad person or wasn't doing worthwhile stuff. If you think that you are better than other people, you are a bad person. Full stop. If you cannot see the value in other people because you think that your skills make you better than them in like an inherent way, like if you're like, I am the best person at this thing, that's fine. Like be confident in your skill. I'm not saying don't be confident in your skill, but I'm saying that if you say, I am more valuable as a person than these other people because of my skill, I think that is an inherently bad way of looking at the universe. Mm-hmm. I think that is what causes you to think that like a barista, because people genuinely believe this shit, right? There are people who think that like, oh, you work at a coffee shop, you should be paid less than it costs you to live. And that is bullshit. Yeah. Because you're that person going into that coffee shop, buying that coffee from that person, and hoping that there's a barista who opens the coffee shop that morning. That person needs to be able to afford a fucking house. And so if you think that because someone has a job that is lesser than yours, or that because they're not politically as powerful as you, that they're not your equal, fuck you. And Cad Swain gets the consequences of her action. We're going to talk about it. We'll get there. But like what happens to Cad Swain at the end of the reading this week is the end goal of being a person who thinks that you're above people and that you can find an equal in another human being because she's just as fucking strong-willed as you are, as if that makes you better than other people. And we see Cad Swain's not a good person. She is not empathetic. She's not compassionate. And she suffers the consequences of that rightfully because of her actions.
It is very interesting that she seems determined to like teach Rand these like positive emotions like empathy and you know love when she seems to be kind of incapable.
She doesn't show them to anybody.
Yeah.
She's not polite, she's not kind, but she demands manners from everybody else. She demands kindness and she demands respect from everybody else, and she doesn't show anybody that in return.
Yeah.
Because she is so far up her own ass. And it is so nice to see her humbled in this. Because people like that exist and they fucking suck. I know because I've catered for them. And I see it. And I'm like, oh, you think that because you have money that you're like a better person than I am. And that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Kindness is the most valuable human trait. It just is.
Yeah. No, I 100%. I think that like Cad Swain is an unfortunate like that attitude, just an unfortunate side effect of the tower and what it's become, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because she sucks.
I do like that Berserker says, spoken like a true Canadian. Look.
Hey.
There's value in kindness. There's value in treating people well.
Yeah.
There's value in like just giving people a nice smile and asking how their day is. You know?
Yeah.
There just is. Being kind to people makes everybody's day better.
Mm-hmm.
There's no value in being a dick. There just isn't.
No.
And anyone who convinces you that there is trying to take advantage of you or trying to teach you to take advantage of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone whose like life goal is to make money by taking advantage of other people isn't a great person. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you're doing crypto pump and dumps, you're probably not a good person, right? You're just not. Your business model is taking advantage of other people.
Yeah.
And that's what Cat Swain is. Cat Swain is a crypto bro who just doesn't realize it.
I hope that like we'll get to obviously what happens later, but I hope that Soralia can help Cat Swain become a better person, and that Soralia is like, oh no wait, like you're maybe not the best equipped to try and teach Rand empathy.
So Soralia and Cat Swain are chatting, and we find out that the Aiel questions Semiraj, which I can't imagine doesn't involve physical beatings. But Rand is like, don't hurt her. And we get into like the first time in this week's reading where the idea of what hurting someone is becomes really blurred because Cat Swain. Oh, is that in this chapter? Wait, what? I don't think that happens in this chapter. No, this is the one where Soralia makes a comment about how she's like disappointed. She thought that Semiraj would be more, and Cat Swain sees that Semiraj is like humiliated by that comment.
Yeah, Semiraj is like,
yeah,
and then it's fine.
And so Cat Swain is like, you know what? She almost broke Semiraj there with a very weak comment that, like, even I would be like, sure, whatever, you fucking like Neanderthal, like.
Yeah.
If someone was like, I thought you'd be more, I'd be like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Why do I care?
Yeah, but Semiraj has this image of herself and gives Cat Swain an idea.
Semiraj is so vain that she's broken instantly. And it's kind of hilarious.
Broken. She just lets it show on her face that it's something that affects her, and then they exploit that.
One spanking breaks her. We'll get to the spanking, but it's one time. It's not like a week of it. Like a single time she has to eat off the floor and she's like immediately shattered.
Yeah, she gets embarrassed once.
She's so vain. But Cat Swain takes Soralia to go see the male Adam that we will later learn is a domination band. Which
it's kinky.
It's kinky, but not in a good way.
Don't like it.
And Cat Swain has it in a box that has very special wards on it.
Yep.
It's super unbreakable. No one's gonna get into those. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No one's ever gonna see it.
No one's gonna find it. Soralia and Cat Swain are like, all right, let's work together to help Rand, even though that's what they were already doing. I found the like agreement. They're
it's
like,
very similar.
Now we're gonna start working together. I'm like, isn't that what you guys been doing the whole time?
I thought they were already doing that, but
I guess now it's official because Cat Swain showed a little bit of faith in Soralia.
I guess.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Because they're equals or some shit. So Rand goes to sleep. And he's like, oh fuck. I'm back in my season 1 of Wheel of Time. I'm in a cabin.
I've seen this place.
Ishamael. I'm Moradin now. It's like, you keep calling me Luce Theron, but you want me to call you Moradin? Why do you get to change your name? I have a different body too. Call me fucking Randall Thor. Like, Moradin is playing these rules so fucking weird. He's like, no, I'm Moradin, Luce Theron. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm Rand.
He's also mad.
Moradin? Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's fucking crazy.
He's fucked up.
And Rand is like, oh, you're the fucker from my fight with Samael. What's up, dude?
Moradin is the person who saved Rand.
Let's have a little chat. I like this scene a lot.
Oh, the scene was great. I'm assuming Moradin kept Rand alive so that he could kill him.
Moradin believes that he has to fight Rand at the last battle. You okay?
Yep.
You weren't coughing, then you had a Ricola, and now you're coughing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a little.
The menthol dries you out, right?
No, it helps.
No, it dries.
It helps.
It gets rid of mucus. So when you take the menthol, it dries.
It helps.
You should have taken the honey ones.
Yeah, oh well.
Too late now. This seems great. I really like Matt and Morden, Rand and Morden finally like meeting.
Yeah.
and talking about this connection between the two of them. Obviously, that connection is very important at the end of this reading. But I thought it was just a really well-written scene of setting up Moradin's point of view and setting up Moradin's like goal with Rand and why they're not attacking Rand directly. It also is this scene made it more clear than ever that Moradin did not send the Trollocs to attack that manor in Tyr. Like that had to be one of the other Forsaken. There's no way that Moradin sent 100,000 Trollocs knowing that that would work, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm really, this scene honestly made me more curious. Rather than curious about Rand, I came out of this interaction with Moradin being like, oh, I need to know what's going on between the Forsaken. Like, I'm almost more interested in that plot right now than I am in what our main characters are up to, because they have to be fucking pissed with each other. And I wish we got more scenes with them, because I want, like, Moradin trying to figure out which Forsaken tried to kill Rand. Because obviously he's pissed at Semiraj, right? But I don't think Semiraj sent the Trollocs.
I don't think so either. She was doing Sanchin stuff.
She was doing Sanchin stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, because everyone seems pretty convinced Samael's dead, right? And if Samael, even if Samael was like part of Mashadar, Mashadar's gone now.
Yeah.
So who sent those Trollocs if it wasn't Moradin? That's a big question. And
Demandred?
I don't think so. Right? I don't think Demandred is going to act against Rand unless he can do it in a way that's going to make him the Niblis. And I don't think he's there yet. I think that he has to weaken Moradin before he can be the Nipples.
I think that Demandred's goals, hierarchically or whatever you want to call it, are kill Lews Therin and then become the Nipples.
But if he's going to kill Lews Therin, he wants it to be like at his hand. He does not want it to be
a bunch of Trollocs.
Even if he sent them, like, I think that he wants to do it literally, like, physically himself.
Yeah.
Sand and Glokta says maybe a peddler. The thing about Padan Fain that I'm so curious about is what power does he have now that Mashadar's gone?
What is his power? What is his influence? How is he able to
Where is he?
Like manipulate people?
Because we haven't seen him since Abu Dar, right?
Does he have access to 100,000 Trollocs?
I don't know. Because it seems like Moradin is raising an army in the Blight. Like, we know that, right? When Greendale goes there, he's breeding an army right now, right? He's being full on Sauron, and he's breeding an army under his tower by, like, raising the Uruk-hai and putting his little white hands on them. So I don't know. I'm so curious right now. The like backstory. Honestly, I wish that we got more of what the Forsaken were doing, because it seems like they have a more interesting plot line going on than some of our main characters do.
Yeah, we also get, like, this is something that has kind of been hinted at that we kind of already know, but it is explicitly said that Moradin believes that, like, this is the final, like, turning of the wheel.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, in this, he's like, it doesn't matter if we win this time or next time. Eventually, we will win. So why are you fighting?
He does say that, but he thinks that this is it.
Yeah,
he thinks that this is it. This is going to be the be-all, end-all, like, no returns, going all out.
I think it's more that he wants it to be. But I think he acknowledges that, like, if it isn't, there will be another one.
Sure, I just mean, like, it really emphasizes the stakes of this for Rand.
Mm-hmm.
You lose again, even if you win partially this time, we'll just get you next time, right? He has to win for good forever.
Yeah.
And that's rough, buddy. I don't know how you're gonna figure that one out. Like, that sucks.
Well, he wants to kill the Dark One. We also get confirmation from Moradin, because he is a Shamael, but we do get confirmation that the only way to actually kill a Forsaken is Balefire. I don't know if that applies to everybody who dies. Like, it seems like we've only seen Forsaken brought back so far, as far as I can remember. So
I think the Dark One will only bring back, like, Forsaken.
But I wonder if it's that he can only bring back people who are tied to him.
No, because he says he can bring back Ileana.
He says that.
Fair.
He says that. You know what I mean? But then why not do it to fuck with him, right? If you can do it, why not do it?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. This whole dream sequence, though, is very strange because Moradin is like, why are you here?
Yeah.
We know that Rand's dreams are usually safe. So what happened with this one?
But it's not Rand's dream. Morden says, "Why are you in my dream?
Yeah, that's
why did you come to me?" Right.
That's what I mean. Like Rand seems to have like subconsciously gone here, or maybe Lews Therin.
I don't know. I think that it is just that their connection is so strong and it is getting stronger, so they're being pulled together more. I have a feeling this is going to keep happening, and I think that this is going to not... I think that these scenes are going to happen throughout the show. I think these conversations between Rand and Lews Therin, or Rand and Moradin, are going to continue. I think the show will never stop them. Maybe for one season they will.
The book?
No,
or
the show.
Oh.
Because the show, we've already established that Rand and Ishamael are connected in the show. And we've already had Ishamael show up to Rand in a variety of places. And so I think that the show will just keep doing this as a narrative device to help tell the story of the Forsaken and Rand and their connection in the past. And I think that what the show will do is use these scenes to show Lews Therin and his influence on Rand in an easier way, because the show does it, or the books do it so much through internal monologue that you can't do. I think having these scenes between Rand, Lews Therin, and Ishamael / Moradin will be an easier way for the show to visualize and televisionize the concept of Rand's madness. It gives you someone that Rand can talk to who understands what he's going through, who is an antagonist, and build up the threat of the antagonist by having them have a relationship.
Yeah.
And a lot of series kind of have something like it, right? Like even Harry Potter and Voldemort have a connection where they can see each other and talk to each other in a way, right?
Yeah.
It's a good way to build up your villain in a series where you don't want to spend too much POV time in their world. Is by having them have an ability to communicate with your main character and build a relationship with your main character, so that when they do fight, it matters more.
Stakes there, yeah.
And so I do think that this will happen a lot more on the show than it does in the early books.
Fair. I can totally see that happening.
Rand wakes up. Well, he doesn't. He thrashes around in Min's arms, and Min is concerned, and she's reading, and Rand wakes up and is like, Lews Therin wasn't there with me in my dream with Ishamael, and she's like, oh,
I'm sorry, come again?
I'm sorry. You need to back all the way up. You went and talked to the Forsaken in your dreams, and the 3,000-year-old dead Lews Therin Telamon wasn't there, and that's concerning. It's weird that Lews Therin wasn't with you. Cool.
Yeah. So this is where we need to start to instill the therapy Aja. Because, like, poor Min is not equipped to deal with this at all. Mm-hmm. So Pink Aja, when is that happening, please?
I also love that Rand is also like sometimes when I grab the one power, Lews Therin tries to take it, and we fight over it, and she's like, oh fuck.
Okay. That's not concerning at all. I'm not concerned. Are you concerned? No. Mm-hmm. No, we're not concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. She also is like, hey, I'm reading these books. I think I'm starting to maybe understand, like, where this is going. So, I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep looking.
But she tells him the important thing, which is, you got to destroy the seals on the Dark One's prison. And he's like, cool. When and where? And she's like, oh, I don't know about that.
I'll keep looking.
You just got to break them.
Yeah.
Where are they?
I don't remember.
We haven't talked about the locations of them in so long. Rand has all of them that are left, right? I think he does. There's none in the White Tower. It has been so long since one of them was in a room with one of our characters that I actually don't... I think there's 3 left. And I think Rand has all of them somewhere.
I know he has a few. I mean, yeah, maybe Rand does have all of them.
But does he?
A bunch of them are broken.
I think there's 3... And I think that he has all of them, but legitimately, I think the Aiel have one of them. I think, like, Ruark is... I think that, like, all 3 of them are with Rand's people, and his people guarding 3 of them.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
He knows where they are.
Honestly, it has been so long since they were discussed. Yeah. It's tough to remember.
I don't remember, sorry.
Yeah. Embry says he used to keep them with the Choden Call. I thought he only kept one with the Choden Call.
All of it? No, because they're too fragile. He didn't want them to get broken. They had to be like put away.
No, but he had one when the Choden Call, when the keystones were in that like wall in his place near Ruidian, there was a seal of the Dark One in there with them. Remember he had the like ward that he had to open? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they are anymore. But yeah, Min's convinced he's got to break them, and then later on, Luce Theron is like, yeah, she's right. You gotta do that. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, when, where, like today,
right now?
Should I be doing that immediately? Like, should I do that at the last battle? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. Maybe we gather before.
But anyway,
break them.
Min's concern translates into I'm gonna fuck Rand now. And we know that because we cut over to Avienda, who is muting her bond because she doesn't want to feel Rand having sex that she's not a part of.
I get it.
I just love that Rand is like, yeah, so Luce Theron's in my head all the time, and like, it's pretty crazy. I just went and spoke to the Forsaken, and Minda's like, now is a good time for us to have sex.
Yeah, 100%.
Now is a good time for us to bone down. Because who knows how many more times we have left.
Exactly.
You know?
You got to take advantage of all the time that you have.
And, like, I don't think Rand's getting any more sleep that night. After having a dream with a Forsaken, I just don't think you're immediately going back to bed. You're up at that point. Lots of adrenaline. Yeah. So, like, you know, it's a good time. It's a good time to bone down.
Yeah.
I did appreciate Avienda being like, oh, fuck, they're having sex right now. Gotta turn that off.
Yeah.
But, Avienda is doing, she's lighting a candle and then blowing it out and then going and getting I'm like, fuck.
She's doing dumb shit because they told her to do some dumb, useless shit.
I'm more and more convinced that it is just like the lesson of not just accepting punishment. Like, I'm worried that it's going to be like, don't you know the Aiel way of like, you have to accept your toe for it to be your toe? And that she's kind of learning the same lesson Egwene is learning in the White Tower. But
that's not necessarily true because we know that you can have toe towards someone and not know it.
I don't know. The book needs to explain to me what this is because I don't get it right now.
I'm a little lost with it, yeah.
James Smith, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
Stopping in from work. Obligatory Katswain is the best. She's not. Fingers crossed for you, Clarus.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a great weekend. Mods, you are awesome. Thank you, Blue, for a second reaction.
Yes. Was it Blue?
No,
that was Dirtbird.
Dirtbird. Everyone needs to thank Dirtbird.
Yeah.
Blue didn't do shit. Okay.
Yeah, this was other people in the community as well. We actually have several reactions for this book because y'all are fucking mad lads. Mm-hmm. And you came together. And so there's going to be...
Yeah, reacting to 39, 40, and 41.
Yeah, we did 2 reactions. There are 3 chapter reactions still to go, so...
Yeah, 5 chapters in this book we're reacting to because y'all are bonkers. Crazy.
Yeah.
We appreciate it because we have to pay for the roleplay relay. True.
You know what? That's exactly where that money is going.
Every dime we make for the next 3 months is to pay for the roleplay relay. The Wise Ones and Avienda talk about the they went to see the Sanchin, and the Sanchin flouted the Wise Ones that they have in Adam collars right now. And the blood feud that the Wise Ones think, the Rand's Wise Ones, God, it's complicated, that Rand's Wise Ones think is necessary because of this. And, yes.
Yeah. James Smith, thank you again for another super chat. What the heck?
James Smith.
It's not his birthday anymore.
Thank you for that super chat. My bad. Screw you, Blue. Thank you, everyone else. This is the toughest. And I think that, like, I love Avienda's response here, where she's like, no, we still have to go for peace. We can't fight them and Sight Blinder at the same time. And
she even says how hard it is for her to say that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, Avienda is one of my favorite characters. Mm-hmm. Because she's never selfish. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's ever had a moment of, like, selfishness other than maybe, like, wanting to stay as a Spear Maiden as opposed to becoming a Wise One. But even that is, like... that's just such a big change that I think anyone would be a little uncomfortable with it. But
well, she's regretful of her duty, but she always does her duty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, she was regretful to leave Elaine, and she was regretful to leave the maidens, but she always goes through with it.
Yeah.
And that's where and maybe like that's the lesson the wise ones are trying to teach her, is that she's too loyal. But like I don't get that lesson.
No, I don't think that's it.
That that she has to stand up to people more. But like that doesn't really make sense. Like Avienda seems to have great insight and also know when to be a part of the whole.
Yeah, she has this incredible clarity of understanding how she feels and why she feels that and why others around her might be feeling the same thing, and still removing the emotions from her like assessment of a situation.
It's making me want more Avienda, because I think that her perspective is so wonderful. Like, and in this whole book, as much as I find the like plot line of her doing menial labor to learn a lesson a little bit, it's just not my favorite. Her perspective on it and her character is so strong. Like, I'm so excited for what Ayoola Smart brings to this woman and like what she's going to be like in live action, because I think that Avienda is one of the characters that has the most potential to really like break out of the mold of the fantasy series and bring something like legitimately new to the conversation. And so I'm so many people praised Ayoola Smart for her part in the Cocaine Bear movie. We haven't seen it yet, but apparently she's wonderful in that. And I'm so excited for what she's going to bring as that character, because Avienda has so many rich layers. And I think that Brandon Sanderson, whatever he added to these chapters, and Robert Jordan's notes, I think that like in Gathering Storm, she's been, and partially I think is that she's not under the cloud of Elaine anymore. Right. And I think that because Avienda was supporting Elaine in Elaine's story for so many books, we kind of lost a little bit of Avienda in that. It was always Avienda from Elaine's perspective. And so now that she's kind of away for Elaine for a minute and we're getting Avienda's perspective on her storyline again, I think we're getting back to a character that I think is just so unbelievably rich.
Yeah.
And I miss that in the slog, because so much of her characterization in the slog was Elaine's view of her.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
We didn't get a lot of her perspective in these books.
You're right. And it is interesting to see, like, and because I was like, yeah, Avienda loved her. And then in the slog in the middle there, she was kind of like not really a standout for me. But I think you're right. I think she was just there supporting Elaine most of the time. And Elaine was the one who was shining. So it's really nice to see Avienda having her own moments here. And I hope that whatever this whole lesson punishment thing is, I hope that I like it and then it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because right now I am a little bit lost. Like, I feel like I'm Avienda. I'm like, I don't fucking understand this. Like, why?
Especially when her answers to the questions are so good.
Yeah.
It seems like she's crushing it.
Yeah.
And everybody always agrees with her. And like, I just don't know what's going on. I don't know what they want her to learn.
Yeah.
And not being ahead of it is fun, because like I'm with her, but I'm with her in confusion, which isn't always my favorite, like over multiple chapters to just continuously be confused by the same thing.
Yeah, I don't mind being in the confusion of the character's shoes. A lot of the time, it's if it goes on too long, I think it will start to be grating.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much that I can take when I just kind of I get annoyed at it. Also, y'all are fucking terrible, just shit talking Blue in the chat. Look at what you started.
The sad thing is Blue isn't here today.
I know.
And so Blue's gonna watch this back later and be like, wait, what happened?
Blue, we love you.
No. Blue knows.
Yeah. No, it's just very funny.
We get into chapter 16 of The Gathering Storm in the White Tower. This is a big one, y'all. This is a big one. Egwene starts her time in the White Tower this week, chilling with some whites. She's de-shelling some walnuts for them. She's like, God, they really called me in here just to de-shell these walnuts. And after 30 minutes, they're like, all right, girl, what do you think we should do?
We have a logic puzzle for you. It's not a puzzle. Spoiler alert.
The Aes Sedai are the least fucking subtle people in the world. Like, they all think they're so goddamn smart, and not a one of them can come up with an ounce of subtlety.
I know. It's fantastic. I love it.
Chemicology, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
Matt was underestimated. He takes out Gawain immediately, so basically it was him and Galad, plus they were just starting in their training. Galad and Gawain were raised from the fucking womb to be sword masters of the realm of Andor. They did not just start their training at 18. Those boys had swords in their hands at 3 years old.
No, No,
You are right in some ways, but like I'm gonna push back on starting the training.
At the training thing, I definitely I don't think I agree with you completely on that, but I think that is a fair point that Matt just kind of like is like boom, right, and takes out Gawain so that he can just put the fight on his own terms. I think that's totally fair. It's just very funny he was able to do that while half dead.
Yes. And also, Gawain was trained by Gareth motherfucking Bryan as a child, okay?
It's got to count for something.
Put some respect on Gareth Bryan's motherfucking name.
I think
he did not go to the White Tower, some green novice who didn't know the pointy end from the handle. He was trained by a man who wooed Siwan without trying. Siwan Sancha, the Amerlin Seat, fell in love with that man accidentally. Do you know how much of a man you have to be to woo Siwan Sancha accidentally? Not intentionally? That's a fucking man, okay? Gawain was not some fucking green in the gills little bitch that lost his first fight. Matt stepped in that ring with a seasoned pro, and he still won. It's impressive.
Yeah, it is very impressive. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're in the White
Gregory
Tower.
Love says, put some respect on Abel Cawthon, something Rafe Judkins did not do. We're in the White Tower.
And, oh man.
Rafe, that was a joke.
That was comedy.
Kind of. I don't like what you did with Abel Cawthon, I'm sorry.
I think that's pretty...
universal?
Yeah. I would love to pick his brain about that. Anyways. Oh.
Hey, Mom. We're doing book club right now. That's all right. All right, I love you too. I'll call you later. Nerdy's mom says hi, everybody. All right, bye. Bye. I missed a call from her yesterday too, so I had to tell her that I wasn't just ignoring her.
That she, yeah.
So Egwene and the Whites are talking, and the Whites are like, "Yo, what should we do?" And Egwene is like, "I am the motherfucking Amerlin Seat," and they're like, "Fuck yeah, you are. God damn it."
Yeah, she logics them into it. Colonel Sanders, thank you for that super duper chat.
The Matt Gawain Galad. I don't know who Gawain and Gwaine are, but the Matt Galad and Gawain fight was more about hubris, arrogance versus skill. I think that your autocorrect just created a bunch of new G names for the Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Because there aren't enough.
Yeah, no, that was S tier. Thank you for that.
Sand says, Blue called Nerdy's mom for backup.
Oh,
my mom would support Blue. My mom would definitely, my mom would support all of you.
Yeah, you want Trish on your side. For sure.
Yeah, you do. So Egwene is basically uses her technique of being like, y'all can tell that the late is fucked up, right? And the Whites are like, oh, your logic is pristine. And I'm like, what are you talking?
Here's the thing. They all are thinking it, but they can't be the ones to say it first in front of other people. They have to have somebody else bring it up so that they can gauge other people's response to it and go from there. Right, you can't be the one person who speaks out against the Amerlin Seat.
I don't even think it's that. I think it is the very wrong in like, this is a metaphor that is not true. I want to be clear because everyone thinks it's true and it isn't, which is that if you put a frog in water as it boils, it doesn't notice that it's getting hotter. That is just not a fact. It's just not true. But the concept of it as a metaphor does actually apply to emotional situations in a way that it doesn't apply to boiling something alive. Sorry, it's one of those things that it's one of those things people say that I'm like, nope, not a fact.
Yeah.
But I think that they just things got bad so gradually that they just, I feel like.
Oh, your mom's in the chat. Hi,
Tish. Hey, Mom.
Happy May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th.
Tom Jones, thank you for the love for my mom.
Welcome back to the Nerd Table. Appreciate that.
Thanks for joining the Nargs. And Katharak, thank you for joining the Nargs as well. Matt versus Gawain Glad also showcases how 99% of all authors don't understand how 1 versus 2 fights work. Facts.
Well, yeah.
But the Wheel of Time also doesn't understand how 6 versus 1 fights work, so...
Don't worry about it. It's cool. Shut up. It's cool. I like it.
Albino says, I gotta ask, why do you have such an expertise on boiling frogs? I have an expertise on things I can be pedantic about. things I can get, things that I can be
course.
technically correct about, which is the best kind of correct.
Yeah. No, I see it. I see it now. I see it. Oh, God.
Because I'm an asshole. So Egwene leaves the Whites after convincing them of her shit. Okay, before chat starts saying I boil frogs, I've never touched I don't think I've touched a frog in my life. I've never eaten a frog.
I've never touched a frog?
I don't think I have.
I had little frog pets.
You had frogs?
Well, really, I had frogs.
And so they were yours?
Basically.
That's how best friends work.
Yeah, but also, like, we went camping one time, and there were little froggies, and we hung out with them.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, I've never, like, had frogs. I've never interacted with frogs.
No,
I've seen them, like, at the zoo from behind glass, but I've never,
Sure.
like, touched a frog.
They're fine.
I've never eaten frog. I've heard frog legs are good.
Never eaten it, no.
Ferdawoon says, I guess Nerdy isn't French-Canadian. No. Trust me, if I was French-Canadian, I would talk about it all the time.
You'd be even more of a dick.
You would know. And I would have a much worse accent.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
For legal reasons. Sorry, Matt.
Oh my god.
So... God damn it. So she leaves those Whites after convincing them that she's right, because of course she is. Aleda's the fucking worst.
Yeah. Her logic is sound.
I may not like Cat Swain, but Aleda is the worst.
Yes. Truly the worst.
And she goes to the ladies who have her fork root, which is Katerin, the same Katerin from earlier. So it has to be Aleda, because Aleda would know if Katerin was leaving the tower.
Yes.
Katerin gives her an extra spicy dose of fork root and says, tonight,
extra spicy.
Tonight, you're serving Aleda again.
Because
she thinks... Or no. She's like, you're going to do nothing but chores.
Yeah, they are like...
that's going to break you.
We've totally changed your education plan. You're not going to be educated, actually. It's like Florida right now.
And like, honestly, I was reading this and I was like, finally, the Aes Sedai are trying... Because I complained about the spanking. Because I was like, why are you just doing one thing? Yeah. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now they're like... Oh, we're going to try it. This is clearly not working after months. We've been spanking you for at least 2 months. It's not working. Let's try something else now. And I'm like, it took you months to try a second form of punishment? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Aleda's really busy building her palace.
I know, but Sylviana is... Because Egwene keeps praising Sylviana. And I'm like... Or Sylviarin, or whatever the fuck her name is. The Mistress of Novices. Sylvianus. She's terrible at her job, because if she's going to be good at her job, she should know to try different shit instead of just doing the same fucking thing over and 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 over again and expecting a different result and not getting one.
Yeah.
And like finally they're like, all right, no more classes. You're going to do chores all the time. And I look, as much as I hate them and they're wrong, they're bad people. I was like, at least they finally came to the conclusion that maybe they should try something else.
It takes the Aes Sedai forever to come to any decisions, like the American government. They fight about it for a while, goes back and forth, and then they actually maybe do something about it in a few years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
This was actually very quick in terms of decision making.
The American government is a giant bureaucracy with 150 million employees. Or like 100 million employees.
Being funny. Just laugh at my jokes, please.
I can't tell that they're jokes today because you have no tone. Everything is delivered at the same level.
Sorry. I mean, it's not that much of a joke. Let's be honest. I also think that, Sylviana doesn't really want to try much else because, I think she kind of likes Egwene. I think she does not really like Aleda. She's just making the best out of a situation.
Which I would argue makes her not great at her job. And Egwene is praising her for doing her duty. But her duty in this instance is to break Egwene. And she's not doing that.
Yeah.
She's just spanking Egwene repeatedly.
Yes.
Right?
Repeatedly.
Desi, thank you.
Desi, welcome back to the nerd table.
A kilometer stone?
Wait, what?
Oh, instead of a milestone, because it's 12 months, a kilometer stone. That's funny.
I hate it.
That's funny.
Oh my god, thank you for that. Welcome back to the nerd table.
But yeah, so she does go scrub some pots in the kitchens.
She cleans out the fireplace.
The fireplace.
Yes, and what's her face?
Laris.
Laris comes over and is like, I'm gonna get you out of here, and like shoves her in a closet.
I did not know Laris was the Han Solo of the fucking White Tower.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's like, look, I have this secret compartment in my kitchen. I was like, are we in the fucking Millennium? Are we sneaking onto the Death Star? What is happening? Yeah. Laris can get anybody in and out of the White Tower. You need drugs? Laris, the kitchen person. Like, she is literally like, I got people. I'm going to sneak you out of here, kid. I was like, is Laris going to be one of the characters in the next Ocean's 11 movie? Like, fuck.
Yeah, no, she's great. And then Egwene is like, no, I can't leave. I have too much shit to do. And Laris is like, you're a fucking idiot. And Egwene is like, it's fine. I got this.
Yeah, maybe. The problem is that Egwene is going to get control of the White Tower, and Laris' smuggling is done for. She revealed all of her secrets. Maybe not all of them, but she revealed a big enough one.
True.
Yeah.
That's
This
true.
Is the end of Laris' smuggling.
Hopefully Laris and Egwene stay on the same side.
Yeah. And I think they will. I think Egwene... As much as I think she's going to be a bad Amyrlin for what Rand's cause is, and I think that she's going to piss me off, I think she's going to be a good Amyrlin for the White Tower.
Yeah.
If she's Amyrlin.
We'll see.
I haven't really thought about that. Do you think she ever actually becomes like the full Amyrlin?
I think so, but I think that it's going to mean something different.
Do you think she's the Amyrlin at the end of the series?
I don't think the White Tower exists at the end of the series.
Interesting.
I honestly, genuinely don't think that it does.
I hadn't thought about that. I kind of assumed it would.
Yeah. No, I think that it's too far gone, and that they're going to lose so much in the last battle. No matter what happens, they're going to lose so much. They will have to create some kind of society from scratch. Like, it's not society. I mean, not club. You know what I mean.
Yeah, because
like,
I guess
structure.
The men and the women are going to have to reblend, right? So the whatever Amyrlin or like whatever leadership, it's going to have to be a mix of men and women.
Unless nobody can channel after this.
That would be interesting.
It like removes magic from the world, and the wheel turns, and like it's our age.
I feel like that implies that the wheel stops.
Really?
Yeah, I think channeling comes from the wheel, and so I think that if nobody can channel, then it means that they've broken the wheel somehow. But I think that there's a way to break the wheel without the devil becoming in charge, and maybe that is the end of the series, right? Is that the wheel does break, and that the next age is the age of freedom or age of whatever. The age of free will. No more prophecy bullshit.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think that the White Tower exists in the same way at the end of all of this. I don't think it can.
After scrub-a-dub-dubbing, getting a shit ton of soot under her fingernails, Katarine comes back and is like, I know you haven't even done... Because the threat is that they're going to make her do chores 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
3 5-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Which I was like, like, you're going to kill the girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she needs sleep. She's going to, have 3 20-minute meals a day and work 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you think she's... And like, all manual labor, and you think she's going to be okay? She's not. She's
not going to be okay. Spoiler alert.
But don't worry, this barely lasts... She doesn't even finish
3 hours.
One shift.
She does 3 hours.
Because Aleda's like, I'm sure she's already been broken because she did 3 hours. I would have waited a week.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
Aleda's such a cocky motherfucker.
Aleda's like, I'm sure 3 hours of kitchen work broke Egwene. Because I think that Aleda just hasn't done her own labor in so long that she doesn't realize that, like, yeah, it's hard. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, 3 hours in a kitchen, it's not my favorite job that I've ever had, but, like, I've done it.
I mean, I don't know, 3 hours of breathing in, like, chimney soot. Ugh.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
But, like, you're not done in 1 3-hour shift.
No.
If I can survive Christmas at Becco, Egwene can survive 1 3-hour shift.
Aleda's just cocky as fuck.
I once worked a serving shift at Becco. I worked 16 and a half hours, and I had 1 20-minute break in the middle of it.
That's illegal.
It was insane.
It's illegal.
We served like 2,400 people in one day. It was the Saturday before Christmas Eve, and it was the craziest waitering day I've had in my entire life.
Fair.
I think I did like 14 turns. full turns in a row with 1 20-minute break to eat food in the middle of it. I drank, I think, 17 pots of coffee, and I literally, like, there was a point in the day where I was like, I think I've had to pee for 4 hours. I think it's time I should, like, fit that in.
Yeah.
She can handle 3 hours. She'll be okay.
Yeah, she's fine.
And she's fine because it's been 3 fucking hours.
Yeah, she gets cleaned up. She goes to wait on the...
She gets to take a nice long bath.
Well, and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to do the same thing that I did last time. I'm just going to be quiet, whatever, not like make noise, you know, just kind of like get through it. But what she doesn't anticipate is all the sitters being there. Sitters that...
Wait, sorry, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Pie Pepper Guy says Mother's Day is the busiest restaurant day in the U.S. Look.
Don't talk about Mother's Day. You
Fuck Mother's Day. I love my mom so much, but fuck Mother's Day. Mother's Day is the worst. If you ever get into the restaurant industry, and I do recommend it. The money's great. I love waitering. I think it's a great job. You get to be a part of some of people's best experiences. I've gotten to help people get engaged. I got to reunite. A guy came into my restaurant, and I got to host a private room for him, and he met his mom for the first time at like 45, his biological mother. Like, waitering gave me some of the best experiences of my entire life, and I'm very proud of the work that I did in the restaurant field. But Mother's Day can die in a dark, dark hole because it's the worst. Because kids do not fucking care about Mother's Day, but moms care so much, and any little thing goes wrong, and everybody's ruining Mother's Day, and they're so entitled. And like the worst Mother's Day ever happened in 2015. We had a man have a stroke and fall down the stairs, a woman have a seizure in the front room, and a homeless person came in and held a knife to his own throat and like threatened to kill himself in the middle of our room within like 90 minutes. We had 3 police ambulance visits to our restaurant in 90 minutes on the same fucking Mother's Day. It is a nightmare. If you're going out on Mother's Day, be kind to your waiters. They're in the middle of it. They're having a bad time. They're dealing with very entitled people who want everything to be perfect, but everyone is very demanding. It's the worst. To all you waiters out there, I feel you. I will never come into your restaurant on Mother's Day. I will leave you alone, and I will tip you very well the next day. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's not a good time.
Mother's Day sucks.
It's brutal.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's my Mother's Day rant. I love moms. Moms are great.
Whoever brought up Mother's Day, this is your fault.
It's just a true statement. That the Pie Pepper Guy it's just a true statement. Mother's Day is the worst.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, and also, if you ruined Mother's Day by, like, there's too much salt or some shit, you're not getting a tip. So not only is it the worst day, but tips are bad.
Yeah.
Tips are not good.
Yeah. Because there's always something. It does matter. Anyways.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so a bunch of the sitters are there.
So, yeah, a bunch of the sitters are there.
There's a bunch of sitters there. Yeah. And so... Egwene has already actually talked to a few of them.
Yeah, it's a lot of the people that she's been meeting with. And so Egwene has that moment of like, does Aleida know that I've been manipulating the White Tower behind the scenes?
Yeah.
No, because Aleida's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. And so, you know, Aleida decides that she's gonna, I don't know, be Aleida. And Egwene is like, okay, well,
Aleida is consistent.
Is very consistent. So Egwene is like, okay, if I don't do anything, my work with these people doesn't matter. Because even though I'm not, you know, like curtsying or bending or whatever it is, they will see me as being like kowtowed, and they don't want to like she has to put forward a certain image. And so she decides, instead of doing nothing, she's going to fucking do something about it.
Before we get into what she does, AMV fan says, fun fact, the woman who came up with Mother's Day spent the rest of her life campaigning against it because it became too commercialized and not what she wanted. Yes.
No, that's so sad.
Yes.
Oh.
It's funny how many of those things there are.
Yeah.
Like people who create something and then are like, oh, I'm so sorry of what I've brought into this world.
Why did I do this?
That's how my mom feels about me.
Yeah, right. Your mom fucking adores you. Shut up. Everyone says you're the favorite sibling.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not close, is the problem. Is that it's not a secret and it's not close.
Oh my God.
Like all of
wow.
the whole family is aware
Uh-huh.
of the disparity in love between how my mom treats me and all 5 of my siblings.
Does that mean I am also favorite?
Yes, because you're the one woman that managed to tie me down. Yes.
Crushed it. I understood the assignment.
Yeah, no. There's definitely resent in my family over like the amount of love that I got versus.
Oh, please. Your mom, I have seen your mom interact with all of your siblings now. She loves all of them.
Oh, loves all of them. But part of it comes from the fact that I was so sure what I wanted from a young age, so it was very easy for my parents to be visually supportive of me because I had very distinct goals. Whereas for my siblings, who I think spent a longer time figuring out what they wanted to do and how they wanted to live their lives, it was harder for my parents to like show support of their desires. And so I think that it more
it's
came
less straightforward.
The way my siblings felt came more from the fact that I was like, I need tap shoes, I need ballet class, I want to do these things.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, great.
That's tangible.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Whereas my siblings were like, I want to play soccer this year. Oh, I kind of want to try this. I want to do this. I want, you know what I mean? And so it was harder for my parents to like zero in on supporting their life dreams because they weren't as like obvious.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas like I was 12 years old and like, oh yeah, I'm going to dance and sing and be a fucking entertainer idiot for the rest of my life. My parents were like, great. That's an easy thing for us to be on board with.
Yeah.
And like I knew what I was going to college for in middle school. And like some of my siblings figured it out in their sophomore year. And that's fine. Like everybody has a different like trajectory in life. And those are all beautiful. But I think that from their perspective, it looked like my parents were giving me all of this support. But it was just because I made it really easy. Because I told my mom at 5 years old I wanted to be in the boys choir.
Yeah.
And I never made it, it was never unclear what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so it was easy to support me.
Yeah.
No,
that's fair.
I wasn't having those conversations with my parents. I know my siblings had of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want. You know what I mean? And those conversations are hard.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people who come into life not being so immediately drawn to one field, I think that it is really hard to figure out what you want to do. And I know people who are my age, who are 30 and still don't have a great handle on what their like goal is.
Yeah.
And
there's just too many possibilities out there now.
I have friends
who
have been honest with me, are like, I'm jealous of the fact that you just know what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
Just that alone is it has caused envy, right? And I get it because like I've never struggled with that.
Yeah.
And so I do think that like some of the conversations with my siblings, especially when we were younger, and it was a little bit harder to like parse out our feelings because we were all teenagers at the same time.
Yeah.
Of like, oh no, but they support you. And I'm like, yeah, because it's easy. It's easy to be like, oh yeah, you've got class at 5 tomorrow. We're driving you to that.
Yeah.
It's harder to support someone who doesn't tell you what they need.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
Anyway, so Egwene is in the room. Jason Trader, thank you for being a member for 13 months.
Welcome back to
I'm glad you like the pirate shirt.
Let's go.
This was an opening night outfit from Peter Pan in 2019.
It's a good shirt.
It's comfy.
Good shirt.
So Egwene is like, yeah, no, Aleda, you fucking suck. Suck a dick. And then Aleda beats the shit out of her with the one power. And I have a question for you.
No, you missed the inciting incident for that.
Lay out the insight. Get into it.
The best fucking part of this entire series so far. Did I write down No, I did put it in the Discord. I don't know if I can find it.
I think I have it here.
You have it. I
Doesn't that happen after Aleda already hits her once?
Yeah, but the beats the shit out of her part is that's what you said.
That's true.
Yeah, no, Aleda does like switch her with air or whatever, which like
Egwene. So it starts with this. Aleda says, "Enough of this," and Egwene responds, "Coward." And Aleda's eyes flared wide. "How dare you?" "I dare the truth, Aleda," Egwene said quietly. I guess she said, sorry, I just movie Harry Potter versioned it, where I yelled it. "Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?" No. So it's, "I dare the truth, Aleda," Egwene said quietly. "You are a coward and a tyrant. I'd name you Dark Friend as well, but I suspect that the Dark One would perhaps be embarrassed to associate with you."
Ooh, sick fucking burn.
Boom. Get wrecked, Aleda.
Was sitting on the couch. I fucking burst out laughing. Like, I, like, stood up. Like, I could not contain the laughter.
It's a great fucking line.
This incited for me. Yeah, fucking... Oh, man. I'm gonna like write that one down, put it in my back pocket, even if the person that I'm insulting doesn't know what it means. Like, it's still really funny to me, and that's what matters.
I want you to say it to a random person who just never read these books is like, I think the Dark One himself would be embarrassed to associate with you, and then be like,
They'd be like,
who, the Dark? Are you being racist?
Oh my god. Yeah, no, this was my favorite fucking moment. And Elena loses it and is beating Egwene. Like, and the sitters are all there, like, this is illegal. Like, you can't, like, enact, like, these punishments on the novices. Like, this is not okay. And Elena's like, no, I am the law. And she takes it a little far.
I have questions about this.
About what? Oh, the whole one power as a weapon?
How many times are you allowed to pick a girl up with the one power and bash them into a wall with the one power before it's considered using it as a weapon?
I mean, Nynaeve did it, and Swan did it to Nynaeve, and Nynaeve did it back in, like, book 2.
So they both did it once. So clearly once is allowed.
Once is fine.
Twice, to the point where their face is bruised. I think she actually throws out the wall 3 times. And also
it's a few times, I think.
The picture, she's bleeding from the arms. So, like, if you're not allowed, if the oaths don't let you use the one power as a weapon, I, like, literally don't know what the fuck that oath means now. This scene kind of broke the one power oath for me. Because I don't get it. If you can literally bruise someone's face, then I just don't understand how that isn't a weapon. And this chapter, honestly, it was such a cool moment, and then this took me out of it because I was like, wait a second, this shouldn't be possible.
I honestly think that this is going to be an inciting incident for what the White Tower does with the oaths and what they mean in the future. Like, I think that this is a conversation that will be had after this moment because everyone is in shock, right? Like, everyone in the room is freaking out on certain scales, right? And Egwene is able to, she's been practiced with her spankings, I guess. She's able to get up and fucking look Elena dead in the eyes while being beaten. Like, yeah. She's losing blood. But you know, even Egwene, she could be in danger of dying if she doesn't get medical attention, potentially. Like, who knows? 100%. Who knows? She's being cut. She's being beat. She's being thrown around. Like, those are all, like, things you would do with a knife, for example. Leda's basically using a knife of air on her. And it's, I agree. I think that this throws the whole, like, one power as a weapon oath into question.
They're saying that because she believes Egwene is a dark friend, she can do it. But then, like, what is the fucking point of the oaths? Like, legitimately, what is the point of the oaths?
Yeah, she has no proof that Egwene is a dark friend.
No.
Zero whatsoever.
And she's never claimed Egwene to be a dark friend.
Well, she does, yeah. She's like, I name you dark friend in this scene. She's like, no, fuck you, you're a dark friend. And it's
just... Does Leda say?
Yeah, Leda says you're a dark friend.
Oh, yeah. It literally a couple paragraphs
But, like, there's absolutely no reason for her to think that other than she convinced herself and made it up in her own mind. So if that's how that works, I could tell myself, so this person's a dark friend. Fuck them. I'm going to kill them. I
wish that the books interfaced more with because I think the scene is amazing, obviously, right? Like, this chapter is awesome. This whole chapter is great.
Tier, especially
Egwene is great here. Aleda's great here. I'm glad that it's finally bubbling up and it isn't just this, like, secret. I was worried that we are going to get the secret war through the whole book. No, I'm glad that it bubbled up quickly.
Yeah, she brings up the fact that Aleda wants to, like, add another oath. Like, she, like, is able to manipulate all the people in the room to kind of doing what she wants in a way. Like, breaking Aleda like this was the smartest move.
Yeah, I wish that Egwene as a character wasn't so hot on the three oaths. Because Egwene is like, no, we have to, I already believe in the three oaths. And I'm like, I wish that Egwene was interfacing with the fact that, like, oh, the three oaths kind of don't mean anything.
I hope that this is a moment for her.
I hope so.
Like, I think that this is, like, such a huge, like, earth-shattering, not, like, perspective, I think is the wrong word, but, like, you can't go back from this.
And Aleda needs to be deposed for this, because this is against the law.
Yeah, and she's like, I am the Senate. Like,
yeah, but like, if the sitters don't do anything about Aleda after this, like, well, then they all need to be like.
And
this is literally the law that
yeah.
something big has to happen because of this, and I'm curious what it is. I wish that it was in this week's reading, because this was one of those times where like this massive thing happens, and then the next chapter is like, because the next chapter is Matt, right?
No.
No, the next chapter goes to like Cadsuane spanking Semiraj, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Because the end of this chapter is we end on this high moment,
and it doesn't come back in this section,
and it doesn't come back for 100 pages.
I know,
and it's such a big momentum moment to then like cut away and just not. We'll get to it eventually.
Yeah,
and I just was kind of like and maybe it's the Brandon Sanderson thing of like jumping POVs every chapter. And that isn't my favorite, because this was a moment where I was like, I would have liked to have stayed with this a little bit longer because it was such a high of it.
We do seem to be jumping around more, so I'm assuming that is like a Brando Sando trait.
So that maybe isn't my favorite element of Brandon Sanderson's writing, because I think here it was a loss to like leave this storyline in the middle of such an incredible beat of catharsis and an unwinding of so much previous stuff that we've been building to, right? While at the same time saying like the chapter is written so well that I clearly like Brandon Sanderson's writing, right? So it's there's the push and pull of different authors, and I think that's what's interesting about going into The Gathering Storm is kind of realizing like I think Robert Jordan might have stayed with this longer, but Brandon Sanderson is writing it in a way that I find more intriguing in the middle of the chapter. It's just different strengths, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. And Aleda ends the chapter by declaring that servants shall go to the city and declare that Egwene is a dark friend.
Yep.
Because that is going to go well for Aleda.
Yep, she gets thrown. I guess she's going to like a dungeon somewhere.
Speaking of the next chapter, we're cutting over to it. It's this chapter 17, Questions of Control. Dale Hendrickson, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you so much. Let's go.
Interesting fact, Roe Wade was won, but because how far it has been taken, she fought for the rest of her life trying to reverse it.
Who is she?
No. The woman at the center of the case in Roe versus Wade, Jane Doe, is against is pro-life.
Oh.
Now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That is a very complicated situation that we're not going to get into on this podcast. But the Jane Doe, that is true. It's a true story. She is not pro-choice anymore.
Yeah. Thank you for the super chat.
Questions of control. Cadsuane realizes that Semiraj's whole thing is that she can't be humiliated because I don't know. And so she spanks her and forces her some food. Semiraj throws her food on the ground, and Cadsuane spanks her and pushes her face into it and forces her to eat from the floor, treating her like a dog. But she spanks her violently, which isn't torture somehow.
No, it's no permanent damage, I guess. Blue's here. Blue,
don't read the chat earlier.
We're not talking shit about you, promise.
No one said anything mean about you in the chat, I promise.
Blue, thank you so much. I want to be clear, that's a joke. It's good to see you.
There were jokes earlier, but we all love you, Blue.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I guess spanking isn't. I guess you can hit people on the ass. You just can't hit them anywhere else. Like,
I think it is the same thing that people used to, like in our laws, open-handed versus like fist. Like you can slap somebody and that was like legal or whatever.
Yes.
Right? But closed fist is a no-go. So I'm just assuming that that is what Robert Jordan was taking into account with this, because they're not allowed to like beat her, do any like the damage or interrogating, but like apparently every single person in this world gets spanked several times at least some point in their life.
Except Semiraj, who's never been spanked before.
Well, she's from a different age.
There were no spankings in the Age of Legends.
She's from a different age, right? But like in this age, spanking does not seem to be considered torture or physical abuse.
Sure.
Which, fine. That, yeah.
Yeah. It is that like question of like Rand is like, don't torture her, and Katsuyane is like, I didn't. I just put her over my knee and spanked her while she screamed in pain.
Yeah, that's what I'm just using the logic that from based on when Robert Jordan grew up that I believe he is pulling from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Corporal punishment is universal in Rand. Yeah, it truly is.
It is.
And it works. Semiraj, one of the Forsaken, immediately broken by
very
this.
Embarrassed.
Just so much so that Shadar Haran shows up a bit later and is like, wow, they fucking broke you quick. And I was like, really? One spanking is all it took? I guess. That it's one of those things where like it doesn't do a great job of convincing me that the Forsaken are worth fearing.
I mean, Semiraj would have done unspeakable things like physically, and so I think prepared herself for any kind of torture.
Are we saying she's a glass canyon?
Canyon?
Did I say canyon?
You did say canyon.
Fuck my fucking brain. She's a glass cannon.
Yeah.
She hits hard, but she can't take anything.
100%. 100%.
That's fair.
Marcus Sadai, thank
Marcus,
you so
thank
much
you for the super chat.
And thank you to Blue.
Thank you to Blue.
Yeah, I think Semiraj, glass cannon, that actually makes sense to me.
All right.
Yeah.
That's kind of that chapter until that side of that chapter. But then we also cut to Perrin. And I this is one of those times where I'm like, sure, I guess these two things go side by side.
Yeah.
Perrin and Perrin's talking with his Ashman, and they're like, nah, we're still too tuckered out, which is fair. Like, they're very tired. But also
I don't get it.
There's something else going on. There's something wrong with Saidin. Again.
What?
Well, he says like they're not recovering as like he's like there's something weird going on. It doesn't seem like they're recovering as fast as they should. Right?
Oh.
And so I think that there's something. I think that much like Saidar earlier, there's something weird going on with them that they're not recovering as quickly as possible.
Like the ward's not working and the rats and the food going bad and things.
Yeah, but it does seem like they are more tuckered out than they should be.
Yeah.
After a couple of weeks, and so Perrin is trying to like decide what to do, but it doesn't seem like anyone wants to go home. Everyone wants to kind of stay with him, which makes sense. He's very attractive. And he saved their lives, and there's no food anywhere. So it's like, why go home? I would
stay where I was being fed as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
He seems to win pretty frequently, too, so.
But there's no food anywhere. And like, the series at some point has to deal with the fact that there's no food anywhere, right? Because they keep talking about how there's no food anywhere, but I haven't seen, like, there's always just enough to get by.
For our people, yeah.
But we've gone through there was no water for like 6 months, and then there was a very harsh winter, and then nothing grew after that winter ended, and all the food that they do have spoils almost immediately. Like, there should be literally no food anywhere at this point. And it seems like everyone keeps finding just enough.
Yeah, it does seem like every POV we get, no one has a single crop that is growing.
Yeah.
But there's still food, so...
But there are multiple armies with hundreds of thousands of people walking around that seem to have just enough to get by.
I mean, and they're the people with the money, so they can buy the food. But, yeah, it does...
But buy it from who?
Good question.
The series has spent, like, 7 books using running out of food as, like, a timing... A clock that's ticking down for the last battle.
The winter hit so fast... before harvest could happen properly, and then winter lasted way too long, and now it's hot and it's too hot. Like, it's just like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. I just mean that like the threat of them running out of food has been going on for so long that it feels like it should have tipped one way or the other by now. And because it hasn't, every time they bring up the fact that no crops are growing and there's no food, I'm like, but it doesn't seem to matter.
It's got to come into play. It has to at some point.
It has to become a big deal that for almost a year an entire continent has not been able to grow food.
It's going to be a problem. It's definitely going to be a problem.
And I think that this is one of those things that I think is an effect of the slog being 4 books that don't cross a lot of time, but for us are so much reading about the same problem over and over again that I feel like the problem should be more dire than it is.
Yeah. Do you think that food in the steadings is going bad?
I have no idea.
I wonder if Sidon and Sidar cannot enter the steading. Nothing can be affected. I wonder if, like, the Dark One touching the world as well, that the steadings are somehow safe from that. Not that I think that it matters and it's relevant to this conversation, but I just had that thought.
I don't know that the, like, steading area is large enough that the Ogier even have farms in it. Like, I don't know enough about steadings to know.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair.
And Bryce says, Forkroot, the only plan that survives.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought of it. I was like, I wonder if the Dark One is able to touch this world in the same way in the steadings as he is in, like, the rest of Randland.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that, like, the characters keep talking about it as if it's a problem, but we haven't seen anybody have to come up with any solutions. So it doesn't really feel like it's a problem. It just feels like we keep being told that it's a problem, but that it isn't actually a problem. Like, no character has ever been in a position where hunger negatively impacted their plotline. They talk about it constantly. But
I mean, Perrin almost got that before going to Sohab, or...
It was almost a problem.
Like, that was, like, a plot point that got them to that city, like...
Sure, but that didn't go anywhere except that they got the food. Like, it never even got tight, right?
Yeah.
They did get the food. And so we keep... It's just an effect of being told for so long that food is a problem without it being a problem.
Yeah, I think it will be eventually, but...
I hope... I really... After all of this, I really hope so.
I think it has to be.
Because I'm just kind of like, yeah, I fucking get it. No one can grow any food. But, like, it seems like everyone's eating enough. So, like, I don't know... There's no talk of, like, Andor is starving, right?
Yeah.
Even though they keep burning down all of their grain silos in Andor. There's fucking, like, fires in Camelin every night. They still have enough food to feed everybody. And I'm just waiting for one of these places to be so desperate for food that it's actually a problem for somebody, as opposed to just something we're told about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But Perrin decides to go see Hopper again.
He does.
He's like, you know what? I'm sick of running. I focused on Fael because it means that I didn't have to make any decisions. God, I relate to Perrin so fucking hard in this section. Perrin's like, decisions are hard, and I didn't want to make them, and so I got Fael back. But now that I have Fael back, you know, I kind of gotta be an adult and stop fucking running away from shit and actually make decisions. So this is a good moment.
Sean says there's talk of people needing new clothes, but I can't recall why that was. It might have been depression related. The person who needs new clothes is in this next chapter, A Message in Haste, chapter 18. Swan mentions that Shariam has lost so much weight that she needs new dresses, but that doesn't seem to be about food at all. It's her, whatever was going on between her and Halima.
I'm assuming so, yeah.
But Shariam seems better now that Halima's gone. Amazing how when the Forsaken that's tying you up and beating you leaves, your life gets better.
Does not put that together at all. That
fair.
Halima leaving the camp is the inciting incident that Shuriam starts to return to her normal self.
Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah.
But Halima can also come back at any time, so...
True.
Shariam is still not a safe person for us to trust. Because we do not know what's going on between her and the Forsaken.
Well, I don't know really if Halima could come back, because now that they have Ashimon around, like, she can't channel.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
This chapter involves Swan going to the hall is meeting because Lalaine reveals to everybody, very intentionally, that Aleda has traveling, and everyone freaks the fuck out because that's bad. The siege is essentially done. There's not really a reason for it anymore. Much like the siege in Camelin, you can't really siege a city that can get food in because they can teleport. And also, it's bad because they don't have any money coming in anymore because they were lying to everybody and stealing money from the White Tower, which I wish I had known earlier. That's fucking fantastic.
That's hilarious.
It is such... I wish that they had revealed this earlier because it makes the Salad Barbarians seem so fucking smart. Steal the money that is insignificant to the White Tower because the White Tower's fucking rich as shit. They don't even notice that money not coming in, right? They're too worried about all this other shit. this is one of those moments where I was like, this is the shit that I wish that I'd known about the Salad Barbarians earlier. Because all that complaining I was doing was like, what are they literally doing from day to day? They're doing shit. We just haven't been told about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a great plot reveal.
Fucking hilarious.
It's so smart.
I know. I was like, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that like I was so happy with it. This was one of those reveals that I was like, oh, thank you for giving me a tangible reason as the reader to think that these characters are intelligent by showing the manipulations and the things they're doing behind the scenes. And it's just one of those things where I wish there was a little bit more of this peppered into the Salad Barbarians, because they're so focused on this siege, and in some ways the siege has seemed kind of, a lot of their plans have been really terrible.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna take a rowboat up to the chain in the middle of the night, and like that was a bad plan. And I want them to seem intelligent.
Yeah.
And so this is one of those things where I was like, oh, really fucking cool. I was so on board for it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And obviously, Swan's first instinct is Gareth Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
She
which should be everybody's, but
it should be everybody's. Yes. But she makes sure that she sends somebody to let him know, hey, watch your back. If they can travel, that changes the whole fucking game for us.
1,000%.
And then we have this conversation with a new character who's been around for a while, but we haven't really had any moments with another S name.
Mm-hmm.
In case there wasn't enough. Sharina. Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, Lelane's the one who fucking told everybody, and Swan is like, oh, well, that's fucking stupid of her. And Sharina's like, is it stupid of her, or is it exactly what she wanted to do? And Swan is like,
I loved this interaction.
Me too.
I loved it, because Sharina, being an older woman who is clearly fucking intelligent and has the wisdom of her years, bringing her wisdom into this situation, and I immediately get this woman, and immediately I'm like, it's good writing. Characters, when characters in this universe talk to each other about their problems, good shit happens. And I'm so glad this book has so much dialogue. It has so much interaction between people.
Yeah.
Bringing their perspectives to one another. And I think that that's what is the biggest difference between this and the slog for me. It's not just that the pacing has picked up, but it is that these characters are actually communicating in ways that I can that feel like real humans.
And not just reading minds based on eyelid flutters.
It's never about it's not about perceptions. It's about what characters are actually saying to one another.
Yeah.
And people are asking follow-up questions instead of trying to figure it out on their own, which has been a frustrating thing about Wheel of Time, is everyone's trying to figure out what the secret motive is. And in Brandon Sanderson's version of it, there's a lot of why are you telling me this? And the person answers that, and it's a good fucking answer. And I'm on board with these characters because they are communicating in ways that let me know what's going on in the story, but also let me know who these people are.
Yeah.
I like Sharina immediately, because she's like, look, I don't know if I'm for Egwene, but I do know that if Lelaine takes over, I'm fucked.
Yep.
So this is my only choice. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Of course you're behaving this way. And she's smart enough. She's smarter than all the fucking cocky-ass Aes Sedai who don't realize what Swan is doing. But this novice...
Because she's actually had a lived experience with people who communicate.
Mm-hmm.
She's
100%.
had, 70 years or whatever it is. She's had a life.
Yeah.
Where people don't act like fucking Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
They act like human beings. I'm like, this moment was great.
And I think that the Aes Sedai, the kin, and the all of the women Egwene brings into the White Tower are so good for the Aes Sedai for that reason.
1,000%.
Because they need humanity.
Yeah.
The Aes Sedai are not humans anymore. And it's the problem with Cat Swain. They're so snooty, and they're so it makes them fucking incompetent. They're all terrible because they're just bullies.
Yeah.
And I don't want the Aes Sedai to win. I want the White Tower to end this series either changed into something that is actually valuable to human beings and not just valuable to Aes Sedai, or gone. Because what this world has right now is harmful. These women are harming the world. And granted, if you're trying to make how the patriarchy hurts the world into how the matriarchy hurts the world, it is successful in that way. But the Aes Sedai, the White Tower is harmful.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
I agree.
They kidnap people, and they don't hurt people, but they throw them against walls. The Aes Sedai are kind of villains.
Complicated, but I understand.
Complicated, but it depends on whose perspective you're coming from.
Yeah.
They don't seem like villains until it's your kingdom they're fucking with.
Yeah, and they definitely don't know. Yeah. 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 I that's why I think that the White Tower can't exist at the end of the series.
Yeah, that's
honestly. Fair. But yeah. So that's that section.
Mm-hmm. Next chapter.
We get into chapter 19.
Gambits.
Which is we're back for the first time with Tuon.
Yeah. Yeah, and Beslin. This was a really interesting chapter to me. I feel like this gave me so much more of Tuon's perspective than like any time we'd spent with her previously.
Yes.
And I do not like this character.
Just to be clear, we're definitely not advocating for the murder of all people who can channel. I just think the White Tower is broken.
I'm not saying they should die. I'm saying that they need to meet human beings and be educated in compassion.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they need the White Tower needs to be filled with people who are kind and they need to learn kindness.
Yeah.
Like I'm not I don't want them to be hurt.
White cloaks are also definitely
they need
not
therapy.
kind.
I'm advocating for the Aes Sedai to get therapy, not death.
And like social
Chill
classes.
Out, chat. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I just want to be clear on that one. Yes.
But yeah, Tuon sucks.
Really.
But this is an interesting chapter.
Really interesting perspective here. And from a place of background knowledge for us and like necessity for the Sanshin, you know, the back home is falling apart.
Yeah.
Tuon's like, you know what? Can't do a shit about it.
The structure back home is just it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are here. We have to figure this out now. And poor Beslin is like, you know, his mom died and he's been like working behind the Sanshin's back to try and rally up the people, and Tuon, instead of just, you know, killing him, it's like, so look, here's the deal. I know everything. And you can either like work with us and your people will have they will have the freedom that they had under you. It's going to be no different. It's just that to me, what's the word in between there? You
have to swear
work for
fealty
me.
to me.
Yeah, you work for me.
Samantha A, thank you for that super chat. I'm a bit late, but wanted to note that Brandon Sanderson is on record as saying he didn't want to write the spanking of Semiraj, but was overruled because it was in Robert Jordan's notes in case it wasn't said. It wasn't said.
Interesting.
And that makes sense.
That's very interesting. Samantha, thank you for that super chat.
I think I'm more with Brandon Sanderson on that than I am Robert Jordan, but if you have listened to this podcast at all, you know how I feel about how Robert Jordan uses spanking.
I don't really know how I feel about that one.
Why?
I thought that moment was actually really interesting.
I think that Semiraj breaking that easily because of one spanking, it defied logic for me.
It definitely makes the Forsaken even like less intimidating than they were.
Yeah, and it also just is, in my mind, if someone says you can't torture them and you're like, well, I only spanked them in front of people to humiliate them and then force their face into food on the ground, I don't know that I don't know what your line for torture then is. Yeah, like, what level of physical punishment do you think is torture?
To be fair, preventing somebody from sleep is also torture.
Oh, I agree.
So,
no, I agree. I'm saying that,
the
like,
line is.
I'm saying that they're I don't think that they are respecting Rand's order at all at any point. I also think hanging her upside down is torturous, right?
Yeah.
So like none of it. It's just another time where like people say things in this world, and I don't think that they follow. I don't think the follow up is what people say it is. I think that like the oaths and the promises are so wishy washy in the Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Because the series wants violence. The series wants action.
Yeah.
And the oath against action gets broken a lot in order so that there can be action.
Yeah.
And the reasoning for it is always a little bit weak, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get that. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Tuon in this moment is so incredibly smart. Even though like you know how we feel about her. This scene was really well done. It's really, really smart. She could easily just off with her head and like fuck it, but she understands like the position that she is in and like what the priorities are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's like the sign of a like good leader. Like she has good leadership qualities.
It's just a shame that it is in service of a culture that is so antagonistic to humanity.
Yeah, yeah. But she does even mention Satel Anand's stuff. You know, I want to remember what she said about how these people, because they're very different from us. Like nobody really understands one another here.
Yeah.
But except for when they do, which is why it's impactful.
Mm-hmm.
And what's her name shows up? Tylee.
Yeah.
There's a plan. So they're
Tylee survived the attack.
Tylee survived. Thank gosh. I was a little bit worried actually.
I mean, I'm never gonna say thank gosh any Sanchin survived an attack on them, but
no, I actually think Tylee's gonna be very interesting because she's like, she has this view of Perrin now after working with him, that like I think having those people, among the Sanchin ranks who don't just see these people to be conquered animals or like who have a different perspective than them and respect someone who has a different perspective than them. Any little piece, any little bit is potentially beneficial for everyone as a whole.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think. So I am very glad that actually she survives. Because they're making a plan to go fucking just murk the White Tower.
Yeah, which we know is going to happen.
It
eventually
seems like it. Yeah.
The concept of the blood knives is so crazy to me. The people that you leave behind to just fuck shit up after you leave, after your mission is over, is like, that is so dark a concept.
Yeah.
Like just as a wartime concept, to be like, we're going to send in people, we're going to accomplish our mission, but we're going to leave some people behind to just do as much damage as possible, is like,
that was fucked up.
Yeah, I think I want to believe that the Sanchin are underestimating the White Tower in this fight, but in this chapter, Tuan is like, yeah, the Aes Sedai that we've captured are useless as weapons. And so I actually am like,
oaths.
I'm more concerned for the White Tower. I don't know. I think the White Tower needs to lose some pride. I don't think that they need to lose their people to slavery, though. And so I am concerned about women ending up in slavery. And that's it. The shit this series makes us talk about on video, y'all, is wild. Like, there's so much I have said on this book club that if people take out of context, like, people are going to think that, like, I talk about the weirdest shit. But this series made me talk about it, okay?
It's not our fault. It's not our fault, I swear.
I'm like worried the Aes Sedai are gonna get their asses handed to them in this fight with the Sanchin, big time.
I am as well.
And that means more women in slavery, which I don't like.
I know, yeah.
But I don't see how the Aes Sedai like put up a fight here.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I like the warders are very diminished by the fight with the younglings, right? So a lot of the warders, a lot of the people who train the warders are dead. So they don't have a great standing army, and the Aes Sedai are not effective fighters, right? A lot of them are very weak in the power.
That's not true. The Greens are like can still like do battle. The reason that the Aes Sedai that have been captured are ineffectual as weapons is because of the oaths.
But I'm talking about the White Tower has the Greens and the Reds, who are somewhat combat people. But a lot of the Aes Sedai aren't fighters. A lot of the Aes Sedai don't know how to fight at all with the One Power, right? The Greys, the Whites, the Yellows, they're not going to be like...
No, I think they all trained
fighting Domain.
They were all there at fucking Duma as well.
Oh,
every kind of Aja.
Yeah, and they got their asses kicked at Dumai's Wells by wise ones who aren't restrained by the One Power and by Ashaman, who are trained as warriors.
You mean the oaths? They're not restrained by the oaths?
They're not trained by the oaths. But also, like, they're not trained in combat. The Domain, and it's the reason why Olivia is so dangerous, is because she's so good at fighting. I'm concerned that the Aes Sedai, they have magic, but it is like taking...
They definitely don't have the upper hand.
I don't think that Professor Sprout and an Auror are an equal match. You know what I mean?
Wasn't Professor Sprout part of the Order of the No, I don't.
She's a herbology professor. She's not fucking fight. You know what? My point is that I'm worried that the domain are going to show up, and the Aes Sedai are going to be like fireball, and they're going to be like firestorm, and it's just not going to be follow.
Right.
And that means more women in slavery.
Because they have perfected using the one power as a weapon.
Yes, that's my point.
Yeah. And I follow.
And so I'm just the plan. Look, I think that Galgan and Yulan, I think their plan is good, and I think they're going to succeed, and it sucks that they're going to succeed. I want to talk a little bit more about Beslan though. Because Beslin's turn and his moment of being like, "Are you sure you're not Taviran, Tuon?" And she's like, "I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that
stupid
wetlander nonsense. Yeah. But I believe in the 3 castles in the sky with the line between them." And then Tylee comes in, and is like, "Here are the heads of the Trollocs," and she's like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't." Like her and Selucia look at each other and be like, "Oh, maybe we shouldn't dismiss all of the things Matt said to us, out of hand."
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm glad someone literally had to throw Trolloc heads in front of her for her to be like, "Oh, maybe I don't know as much about this country as I think I do."
Yeah.
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 But they're under attack. The plan to attack the White Tower gets halted. I agree with Beslan here, actually, kneeling to the Crystal Throne. I think that you got to do what's right by your people.
Probably would have as well.
And like as much as I do not like the Sanchin, I think that Beslan is put in an impossible situation.
Yeah.
And I think he makes the right choice here. He seems like the kind of ruler who does not want to be king, but wants what's best for his people. And I actually like would rather him be in that position to barricade for the Ebu Dar as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I think that, and I think he knows that. I'm glad. I like the way the scene plays out where he stops and everyone is just in a silent room waiting for one man to make a decision. And I can't wait for this moment in the show, depending on how things play out. But like, this is a fucking banger scene for a good actor to be angry and rebellious, and then to be staring this person in the face and have to take a moment to realize that death is lighter than a feather and duty is heavier than a mountain. Yeah. Like this is what Lan is talking about.
Yeah.
Because it is so easy for Beslan to get to choose how he's executed in this moment and die with honor and go out and not have to deal with this.
Yeah.
Right? He does not have to do this, but duty is heavier than a mountain. And I think that he feels that every fucking pound of that mountain in that second that he takes to make his decision.
Well, because, you thought he was, like, doing stuff behind the scenes. And Tuon is like, "No, I know everything. I know where you've been meeting. I know who you've been meeting. I know how often you meet them. And I know exactly what you talk about."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like shocked Pikachu. He's like, fuck. Like,
yeah.
Well, what else is he supposed to do in that moment, right?
I just loved it. I think, I hate the reason why it's happening. The Sanchin are tough. You know what I mean? They're tough. They're tough. But I think that Beslan in this moment, it's such a good scene for him. And it gave me so much respect for him, where he was a bit of a firebrand who just kind of was like the easy rebel. You know what I mean? When we first met him. Rebelling against his mom and against Sanchin. And like to see that his arc has been really, really cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
This kind of leaves off with Tuon agreeing to meet Rand.
Yeah.
So that's gonna happen, I guess.
Which leads us into The Gathering Storm, Chapter 20, On a Broken Road. Matt is kind of a dick.
Matt is upset.
End of chapter.
Yeah, there wasn't really much in this one. In fact, I forgot that this chapter was even here.
Matt is it's kind of a long chapter, but it's mostly just Matt is like upset and worried about Tuon, and so he's just kind of like a douche.
It's like, fuck women.
And
fuck that.
This is where the conversation of like, how does Robert Jordan write Matt comes up? Or sorry, how does Brandon Sanderson write Matt comes up? And I think that his charm is kind of gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's one chapter.
Yeah, but it kind of, and like right now you could say that like it left with Tuon, but cutting to Matt said, I think what's weird about it is that Matt feels very like anti-women because of Tuon. And like, I get it because I've seen men do that when they get married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like a year after they get married. I like
ball and chain.
Yeah, that joke.
I'm like, oh my god.
But Matt is kind of taking that joke to like the next level, considering he was married for like an hour before he hasn't seen her again.
Yeah, I mean, he
maybe an hour
is in a weird prophetic situation with it, but it was a bit strange. Rantomore, thank you for that.
Rantomore, thank you for the super chat. You okay?
Yep.
Or should we end this early? And
No. We got shit to talk about.
I just love the thank you for that super chat.
Guys, I'm doing my best.
The White Tower seems to feel it owes its duty to itself, not the land, which is always a nice contrast to land.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. This was a tough read. Mostly because nothing happens in this chapter except rant.
I'm not gonna lie, I legitimately forgot that this chapter happened.
Matt just kind of rants about women.
Yeah.
And then Vanin figures out where they are, and then I said I want to leave, but Matt's like, I'm not giving you horses, so they're not leaving.
We need 800 horses, and Matt's
we need 24.
That's not how math works.
They need 24 horses.
But I was exaggerating for comedy.
Yeah. But like, even the other members of the band are like, Matt,
we could have been rid of
We can get rid of 24. Like, we can do without 24 horses. We would have been fine.
They would have left. We were so close to getting rid of the fucking Aes Sedai. What did you do, buddy?
I don't know. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of this chapter. It wasn't my favorite, admittedly. And it doesn't really do anything. It just is kind of...
It was forgettable because I literally forgot it.
There's no events. It just kind of like stops the book to like...
Yeah.
Be incel-y.
Yeah.
Yeah. Silly Palm, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
Top of the morning.
Chat.
Mixing Star Wars themed drinks at work today since, always a bigger fifth. I'll raise one to you both with tacos. Cheers.
Cheers to that. Let's fucking go.
So let's move on to other stuff.
So did you know Vanin is fat? Yeah. That is repeated like, every single time he enters frame. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's like the boobs thing. Mm-hmm. All the boobs have to be described. Vanin has to be fat. It's mentioned every single time that he's there, and we're like, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's tough because the Vanin being fat thing is always in relation to how capable he is.
No,
it's a weird backhanded compliment
every
time.
Guy is capable. How weird is that? I'm like, what the fuck?
It's like in the Wheel of Time, no one is good at anything unless you're in shape. Which just, doesn't make sense to me.
Emily Rose,
thank you for gifting 10 memberships. 10
memberships, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Everyone's going to have green names.
Oh my god, that is so kind of you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Baka Karn says Matt's humor is supposed to be RJ's actual humor according to his assistants, and BS doesn't seem able to imitate it. That's fair, I think, for this first chapter. I've heard it gets better, so I'm curious to see how he writes Matt in the future. I think Matt having a bad day is Matt having a bad day, whatever, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that if it is constantly like this, I've been struggling with Matt since 2-1. So, Matt, once one of my favorite characters in the series, is a character that I haven't loved in a while. And this is just more of a character that I haven't loved in a while. And that's okay. I'm curious to see if they win me back over with him. Or if I just move on to other characters. Because right now, I'm so deeply in love with Avienda's character right now. I love Rand and Min right now. There's so much going on in these books. I think... I like Perrin. I'm waiting for Perrin to get off the road. The characters who are stuck walking around in the middle of nowhere, I'm ready for them to get somewhere.
Yeah.
But like Lan, I don't need a chapter about Lan walking across. Show me Lan when he gets there. Yeah. I don't need him walking.
Yeah. Emily, thank you so much for 10
Seriously,
gifted
Emily, thank you.
subs. If you got a sub, throw some emotes in the chat. Throw your favorite one. Maybe like on the video. Yeah.
You sure you're okay?
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay. I don't want to push you too hard.
I'm good.
I know you want to do the show, but
I'm here. I'm ready.
Okay. I love you.
I love you too. You look very concerned.
It's all good.
Like the video. Like it real hard. Like it really hard.
We cut to chapter 21. Embers and Ash. Perrin hops into the wolf dream and is like, teach me how to dominate this land. And Hopper's like, no.
No.
And Perrin's like, wait, but no, but like actually though. And Hopper's like, you can't.
He's
That's
like,
not how this works.
No.
Bear's like, okay, well then I'll find another wolf who will.
And then Hopper literally just fucking yeets him out of the wolf dream.
And Hopper's like, no, it's that you. That's not how it works. It's not that like I won't.
Yeah.
Use your brain, Perrin. Come on. Perrin.
Yeah.
I feel like Perrin should have a better handle on this as a blacksmith.
What? What do you
Like a black, because when you're working with metal, you have to work with the metal that you have, right?
Oh.
You can't dominate the metal. You have to work with it. You have to coax it. You have to like find the strength of that metal and use that strength to build your weapon, right? If you try and like crack it all up to be exactly what you want it to be, it's just gonna shatter.
Arzu, thank you so much for 10 gifted memberships.
Arzu, thank you so much.
Oh my god,
that
y'all.
is so kind.
Guys, it's not Nerdy's birthday anymore. You don't have to.
I think they're doing it because you're being a trooper.
I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
I know. I'm just worried about you.
I'm Gucci.
But yeah, so Perrin is really intent on dominating the wolf dream and mastering it.
Yeah.
And I hope that he starts to think of it a little bit more like a blacksmith who's coaxing it and is like going with the flow of it, you know?
I think that's going to be a big part of it because especially because he brings up the hammer versus axe thing.
Yes.
I do think that those things are going to be very much related, 100%.
Yeah, and I hope he finds the hammer, not the axe, right? I hope he finds that in this.
In the
I think he
wolf dream.
will. I think that's the direction his character's taking.
Yes.
I like that he is deciding to be a leader though. I like that we're kind of getting past his like I don't want it. I'm done with that. We have 3 books left. These characters need to be in charge of their shit. I'm good with them not. We've done it for 11 books. I'm so good with them not whining about being in charge anymore.
Fair.
And I'm glad that he's at least decided to not do that anymore.
Yeah, fair.
He has to learn how to be a better leader. Great. I'm there for that journey. I'm good. I'm good on the like I don't want them to want to follow me though. I'm like, dude, the devil's coming. We gotta fight. Get over it.
Come on, buckle the fuck up.
You've been riding around with a banner for 6 books. Get the fuck over it. Let's get to work, okay?
Right. Yeah. Fail. This is the part that we kind of talked about where they have a little funeral thingy for their people. I don't have anything else to add to that. We chatted about it. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No. Just they do have a big conversation about Berlin and the jealousy that Fael feels that I don't love.
I don't understand. I am supposed to feel jealous. I
don't agree with that.
And that I think that's just our personal worldview.
Yeah.
We're not very jealous people. That seems toxic to me.
Yeah.
But
jealousy's
who am I to say?
Jealousy's been the end of so many of my relationships. And not even like jealousy of like another woman or another man, but like, and partially because I don't feel that, but the like professional jealousy that's my fault for dating actresses and dancers who are in my field my whole life, is that is more common when you date someone who has the same job as you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fail's like insistence that her jealousy is good for their relationship when it has been so toxic.
Been a point of contention for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't love it.
I honestly think that the jealousy fuels Berlin. Like, if Fael wasn't jealous about it, I don't think Berlin would try so fucking hard.
Yeah. And now Berlin has gotten over that, thankfully. But, Taviran says there's nothing wrong with feeling jealous. What you do with that feeling is what matters more. I agree with that.
No, it's just that she's insistent that she has to feel jealous.
Yes. That's what feels toxic to me.
That's just the part that's a little bit weird. If you feel jealousy, that is a totally valid emotion. And I definitely don't think either of us are discounting that at all. We're all human beings, right? We're all just doing our best. But, like, communicating through the jealousy is so much more beneficial than being like, no, I'm supposed to feel this way and I have to feel this way. And it's actually helpful because I have not seen it ever be helpful.
Yeah, it's her insistence that it is necessary to their relationship that is what feels toxic to me. Yeah. It's not the existence of it. I think it's impossible to never feel jealous. I feel jealous of my best friend all the time because he has an incredible career and he's handsome and like there's things to be jealous of him for. That has I've never allowed that to affect my relationship with him, right? Because I love him and I also feel pride in his accomplishments and in the way the world views him, right? I feel both of those things, and it's healthy to have both of those things and to acknowledge that one is positive and one is negative, and to not allow one to take over. But if you start to view one as necessary, it will inherently start to take over, and I think that that's dangerous.
And because we have seen that it affects their relationship and how Fail treats Perrin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the reason that I think that it's too... It feels toxic.
The weeks of cold shoulder and...
And that's just not fair. Like, yeah. It's a weird moment. Their relationship to me has always been a little bit weird.
Yeah, and I was hoping that because she's grown so much, I was hoping that she would come out of the Shido plot with a different viewpoint. That like the fighting and the jealousy, that stuff wasn't necessary. And it seems like all it's done is make her double down in that belief, which isn't my favorite way for that plotline to go. Yeah. Even though I like Viola a lot. I just, her insistence there was weird. Yeah. It's a weird one. And I do think that it's also a generational thing. Our generation is like Robert Jordan, like that. I do not want to put words in his mouth, obviously, but it feels like he seems like he believed that kind of jealousy it is just an integral part of a relationship. Well, and it seems specifically that you think that it's an inherent thing in women. Right? Yeah. Like it's only women are jealous, and men in this world aren't jealous.
That's true. I don't think we've seen a moment where
because none of the women who have a man have flirtations with anyone else except for Roland that Perrin doesn't know about.
Yeah. And even Perrin is like, whatever you had to do in there, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
He's like, no,
there's no... Perrin assumes that something happened between Viola and that man, and he doesn't say anything about it. And so it is weird that jealousy is a gendered trait in the Wheel of Time. And in my experience, men are way worse with jealousy than women.
Well, I guess Demandred is jealous of, like, Luce Theron. But even that's
jealousy of power. And so is Samael, and so is Ravin. But that's a different kind of thing.
That jealousy comes from something completely different. Unless Demandred is in love with Luce Theron, in which case I'm all for that. Like, that's interesting.
Rand could use a few more people in his harem.
Yeah, for sure. Those are definitely different. Lanfear's Bow, thank you for the super chat.
Thanks, Lars, for the MJ flu game effort.
I got you.
You don't have the flu, though. It's just that you lost your voice last night.
Nah, it's just my throat.
We had such a good time last night.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like, honestly.
The music was really loud.
Yeah.
But no, we were sick earlier in the week, but we're both feeling pretty healthy, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You were talking a lot last night.
I was, and the music was loud.
Yeah.
It really was.
Glenn Peterson.
Glenn, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. Jealousy can lose its effect on you when you truly start feeling comfortable in your own skin. It's always felt more like a confidence thing to me. I think for some people it is. I think it varies. I think there are different kinds of jealousy, and it kind of affects everybody differently.
But I do agree. I think that there are certain types of jealousy that are definitely stemmed from a lack of self-confidence.
C-Sting actually brings up a good point. We saw Rand jealous with an Ashaman who made eyes at Min and almost sliced him into at the gateway. That is true.
I forgot about that.
But Rand is also insane.
That's also true. But no, I appreciate you bringing that up. That's
a good point.
Yeah. That Dark Friend, welcome to the Nerd Table. Thank you for becoming an Narc.
Thank you for joining the Narcs. So the chapter ends with Perrin being like, I guess I'm going to have to let Fael ride into the final battle. And I was like, that's maturity on Perrin's part. He's certainly growing his character. I'm excited to see it. Mm-hmm. He doesn't feel the need to constantly protect his wife from anything, which I think is a very masculine, or not even masculine, but patriarchal trait, that you think that like women are incapable, which isn't true. Women are very capable and they can do amazing things. So
not me. I'm very not capable. I don't know what I would do without you. I expect you to take care of me because I am sick.
Mm-hmm. That is more. It's more true than it should be.
I love you.
You are kind of useless in a lot of ways. You're so capable in some.
I am not useless unless it's above 5 feet 9 inches.
Or if it's in a car, or if it involves cleaning. If it's maintaining the cleanliness of a place, if that is not your strength.
When I actually put my mind to it, I clean.
If you're stressing out about something and you anxiety clean, you do occasionally anxiety clean.
I do a great job.
If the goal is to keep a place clean for a extended period of time.
Yeah, no, general upkeep.
I've seen you anxiety clean a room and then need one item of clothing, and so you dump out a bin onto the room that you just finished cleaning.
You can't relate to that?
No. No, I actually can't.
That seems like a you problem.
Tootsie, donation for cleaning Lord Lady.
Thank you for super chat.
You're just giving money to me.
Thank you.
The cleaning person.
Thank you. To be fair, when we moved into this place, I paid someone to clean this whole thing.
They
didn't
were
do
terrible.
Shit. They didn't do fucking shit. Biggest waste of money in my entire fucking life. Anyways, it's fine. And anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting. People are bringing up other elements where the men are jealous, and I think that it's true. I think that we're painting the genderedness of the jealousy with too wide a brush because Fail's version of it is so in our face.
It's the most consistent one.
Well, and it's the only one that's had consequences. I think that the other forms of jealousy in the books have typically been a line or two here or there, whereas Fail's is the plot of whole chapters. And I think that that's what makes it feel different. Because people are bringing up a lot of points. Matt has been jealous. Rand has been jealous. And I think Chad is right on this.
Yeah.
It's really that Fail's jealousy has taken over an entire storyline at times. Like, Perrin in Rand's Castle and Kyrian is literally just paragraphs about Fail being jealous.
Yeah.
Whereas the other forms of jealousy haven't been as plot relevant.
No, I think that's totally fair.
And that's fair. I think Chad's right to call us out on that.
It does feel very different when it's a one-off here or there, because this is obviously the one that sticks with us.
Yeah, no, that's 100% fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, chapter 22, we did an audiobook reaction to this.
If you're a patron or a YouTube member, you can go watch it.
Yes, thank you to Dirt Burb for commissioning that audiobook reaction. We very much appreciate it. Yes. But wasn't super stoked to react to this on video. Not that I'm like against it. I just this was tough. There's about 5 minutes of this audiobook reaction where I'm like head in my hands, not looking at the camera, because this chapter is so brutal.
Yeah, it's rough.
Like, in our reaction, I was pretty disturbed.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck am I listening to?
Well, and then after we recorded this, we went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which was also bleak. Like, we had a bleak day yesterday.
It's heavy, yeah.
It starts with Semiraj in her cell, Semi-Rag, as they call her in the books, which is just fucking terrible. And she is very cold all of a sudden because Shadar Haran appears.
Yeah.
And she's like, you were broken. You fucking almost killed Rand and you weren't supposed to. You're getting one more chance, lady. I'm telling you this right now. You're going to go out there. You're going to capture that boy. And you're not going to kill him because we fucking need him. You have one chance. One shot. One opportunity. Don't squander it. And she has her mom's spaghetti on her shirt from being dragged through it.
Fucking God, Jesus Christ.
So she breaks out, and who's there? Elsa, fucking Elsa, who's different from Elsa, which is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, Elsa.
There's ELSE, and then there's ELSA, and then there's ELZA, and those are 3 different characters.
Honestly, rude.
Who are all Aes Sedai.
Fucking rude.
Elsa is there, and Elsa has the Domination Band, which we learned is called the Domination Band because, of course...
Of course it is. And also she's like, I have a compulsion on my mind that you need to remove, and Semiraj is like, wow, that's probably gonna fuck you up, but all right, let's do it.
It doesn't matter. She doesn't live for very long. How did you feel about it being revealed that Varen's one power trick is compulsion?
I just figured it was. Like, I was, like, taking that for facts for this whole time.
it makes Varen so fascinating to me.
I mean, like, we literally see her doing it.
Yeah, yeah. But to find out that it is the illegal weave is because I don't think she's obviously not black, right? Because if she was black, she would have left Elsa out of it.
Yeah,
and so
only like one black Aja only knows like 2 others at a time.
But I think that this is confirmation that Varen's not black.
I agree. I don't think that Varen is black Aja, but it still fucking sucks.
But it makes her so like Varen is who Cadsuane thinks she is. Like Cadsuane is the person who's like, I will do anything to win.
Sick burn, yeah.
But Cadsuane has so many lines she won't cross. Like, Varen is actually that person. And that makes Varen scary as fuck. Because we don't know where she is. And she is willing to break all of the tower laws to do it. And I think, like, that is... It makes her an interesting character. It's not a character... It's something I don't know that I agree with. Like, it's something I'm going to struggle with her. Because she's doing something that is pretty evil, right? But at the same time, like, her intentions are good. And... it makes her so interesting to read about. Like, find out this was literal compulsion. I was like, oh shit. Like, she's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I don't think that Varen would be compelling people to like swear to Rand if she was Black Aja. Like that, like.
Well, but that was during the Let the Lord of Chaos Reign stuff. So, like, that could have been... Sure. That could have come straight from Moradin. Right?
Maybe. Yeah.
Ember Eyes says she's definitely lied before, so either she's black or she's got her hand on the Oath Rod at some point. I don't remember Varen ever lying.
I don't remember either, but now I'm curious.
Andre Tart, thank you for joining the Nards. Appreciate
Andre,
that.
Welcome to the Nerd Table. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I don't know. This just made Varen. It just made Varen very cool. Varen hasn't been in this book so far, but this brought Varen up in my mind in a way that I was like,
very cool.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Very interesting character, who I like don't know that I agree with, but like also like I think is working for the right cause. It's so tough.
Yeah, I know. Very like not black and white, you know.
So we cut over to Rand. Rand is up in Saldaea, because that's how they say it in the audiobooks, is Saldaea. There's such a long, like...
I know.
Saldaea. Yeah. Every time. It cracks me up. He's riding with Rodel Iturralde, and they're looking at the Blight, and the Blight is bad. It's moving up. It's creeping.
Like, what, 2 kilometers further than it was last time?
Which is fine, because the Borderlanders are all at their posts, watching the Blight, making sure nothing bad happens, right?
Except they're all looking for Rand, and Rand is like, wow, I wonder what those Borderlanders are doing. And it turns out they're actually looking for you, Rand. Go fucking talk to them.
Glenn Peterson, thank you for that super chat. Varen lied verifiably in book 2. Moiraine sent me. Moiraine later said I never sent Varen.
Moiraine sent me.
Moiraine
sent me. When was that?
In book 2.
But like Moiraine sent...
Varen told them that Moiraine sent her, but Moiraine said... Rand, I think?
When? Sorry, I don't... Fellow Jerusalem, that one's on us. I asked. I was like, oh, I'm actually curious about that.
Yeah, no, you asked.
I opened the door for that, 100% on me. But I...
Daishan says that's not a lie if Varen thought Moiraine sent her.
Yeah, even if Moiraine didn't say, yes, go there... Maybe
the 3 oaths are the 3 oaths have so much Swiss cheese in them that I don't actually think that matters. It's interesting, right?
That's true. It may not. It genuinely might not matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could even say that Moiraine said something else, but I got the vibe that she sent me.
I got the
vibe. And
vibe.
so I believe that she sent me through, you know what I mean? Like, the 3 oaths are such Swiss cheese at this point that, like, it could be anything. Varen can tell herself any story she wants to make that true.
Yeah.
And it's true, right?
Yeah.
So Rand is riding with Rodella Terralde, and Luce Theron is like, yo, Min is right about breaking the seals. We're going to have to do that. And Rand is like, okay. Cool. Thanks, dude. Do you know when? No? Cool. Let's move on. We're going to go home. And so he goes back to see Min. And Min is just reading. And Min is like, dude, you gotta laugh more. And Rand is like, you know what? You're right. He's a dick for a second. And she's like, why are you being a dick? And he's like, good question. I'm being a dick. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna laugh more. I'm gonna try. Because I'm clearly taking this too far. And it's a great conversation between the two of them. I'm so glad they finally had it.
Yeah.
Until she's like, yeah, like Cat Swain was telling, and he's like, Cat Swain said fucking what? Are you... Is she using you to get to me? Are you... But I was like, dude, Min had a conversation with Cat Swain. Calm the fuck down, dude.
Rand gets a little edgelordy in that moment, and then is like, oh, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm fucking losing it.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, Rand goes way overboard on the Cat Swain stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely don't know how they come together and work on this unless they get to the last battle and Cat Swain shows up and is like, kill me if you want, but I'm here for the last battle and I either die at your hand or the Dark One's. Like,
yeah. But yeah, Rand is clearly in his feelings about Cat Swain here. And so you'd think that they're going to talk about them, but no, because Rand suddenly has a domination band on his neck and standing over his shoulder is Semharaj. And this scene's really brutal. Min throws a knife and almost gets her. Nicks her cheek. Yeah, but a weave of air blocks it at the last minute. Elsa comes in, and suddenly there are two people holding on to the domination band, keeping Rand from doing what he wants to be doing. It's
very interesting that you need two for the male Dom, as opposed to like the one singular for the female.
I think it's because it's the older version, right? It's an older model.
Or do you think it's because it's it's Sidon versus Sidar? Like if two men were to control a woman, they would also need two bands.
I don't think it's that. I think that it is that it was made during the breaking, because that's what we learn, right? Is that the domination... Semharaj reveals a lot about the domination band here. It was made during the breaking, so I feel like it was made during a time of like great tumult, and so I think that it was just... I think it's more a design thing of them being like...
Yeah. Oh, Light Blind Fool. I mean, I knew that the maid was gonna be either Elsa or Semharaj in the reaction, but I also was trying to listen very hard.
Oh,
because I didn't have the book with us. Because they mentioned the maid in the scene.
The maid that can't put cups down without making a shit ton of noise. Yeah.
And that
the
won't
maid who
leave
is
the room.
Terrible at her job.
I was like,
Yeah. The whole time, because I was trying not to talk because I was trying to listen to the conversation between Rand and Min.
Yeah.
So I was like, the maid is obviously...
She's very clearly sus.
But the fact that it's the first time in this entire series where we've had the maids make noise while they're doing something in the room.
Yeah.
Of course it was relevant to the plot. Like, you can't not talk about the maid's behavior the entire series, except that they're there sometimes.
Yeah.
And suddenly be like, there's 6 lines about the maid. And I was like, okay, the maid's clearly important.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just waiting for the moment to happen.
Yeah.
But they fucked up. They should have stilled Semharaj, honestly, because Semharaj, basically,
it's bad. This scene was tough to listen to.
Yeah, you guys know what happens. There's torture, and then Rand is like, I'm already broken. You can't break me. And Semharaj is like, want to fucking bet? Let's go. And is going to make Rand kill Min.
Well, and she starts by forcing Rand to torture Min.
Yeah.
Which is just fucking brutal. And listening to Kate Redding, I think if I was reading this, I would have been a little bit better with it. But listening to Kate Redding as Min pleading with Rand was really her as a voice actress. I thought she did an incredible job reading this chapter. I think it's really hard to read, and this one was her voicing Min's discomfort and Min's pleading really broke me. And then to go into Rand choking Min with his remaining hand.
Yeah, that was some fucked up shit.
This was brutal. And I get why people wanted us to react to it. I do understand. But it was tough to listen to.
It was, yeah. That was harrowing.
And a lot of that goes to Kate Redding's reading. I think that her performance of it is really, really, she gives it the weight that it needed. She reads it as dreadful as it is meant to be.
Yeah. Christian rapper, the Dark One broke Cat Swain's weaves to give her the domination ban.
Wait, was it Kramer that... Am I remembering it wrong?
Yes, it's Michael Kramer.
He did a great job. In my head, it was Min.
You can hear Min. Yeah, you heard Min.
And so I was like, oh, it's a woman's voice.
That's how
you know
good
what? Credit to Michael Kramer that I was literally so invested in it being Min that I was like, oh, it must have been that's wild. We listened to it yesterday.
I know. But no, I get it. It's the voices are so stand out. Like, man.
Redding does the Cat Swain chapter. That's right, yeah. I think y'all know me. I cry a lot at media, and it's because I get very emotionally invested in things. And I was very emotionally invested in that chapter. I also disassociated a little bit, like you did during Guardians, where I just kind of was like, this is a lot. It was a lot. It was heavy.
Yeah.
And it was heavier than this series tends to be. Like, I think that might have been the heaviest moment of the reading so far.
It was definitely like the most personal, heavy moment.
Yeah. The intimacy of it, the intimacy of the choking was brutal, like truly brutalistic. Yeah. In a way that the scene's really well written. It's so well written, but it was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was rough.
I was like,
I kind of wish Guardians 3 had been a happier movie. Because it was tough to go from this to that.
It was a rough day.
Because I also really enjoy that movie, and I think it's very good, but it's bleak. And it is an ending. It is definitely an ending. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. And Rand manages to break free using the true source, true power.
Yeah.
Whichever one. Fuck, I don't remember what it's called. The true one. Which we kind of talked about this in the reaction about whether we thought Rand was seizing control of it through his weird connection with Moradin, or if the Dark One granted him access to it.
Yeah, this is the big question, right? Did
both
he
mean very different things?
Did he pull it through Moradin, or did he get? Did the Dark One allow him to break through? Because we know the Dark One wants him at the final battle, last battle, right? The Dark One, Moradin, and Shadowhuron are conspiring to make sure that he's there. So, did the Dark One sacrifice Semiraj for that success, or did he pull it through Moradin?
And I don't know.
I personally want it to be that he pulled it through Moradin. I said this in the audiobook reaction, but I find like the Dark One wanted all of these events to happen, so they happened. Kind of a reveal at the end. The Dark One engineered the whole plot so that it happened the way that it did. I find that boring. I think that if you're going to tell me a story, that the character's actions need to matter. And it's why I don't like prophecy. We've talked about this. I think prophecies that take away the character's will in events I find them inherently unsatisfying, because I'm like, well, why am I not following the Dark One then? Why are you not just telling me the Dark One story if they're the character whose actions matter? Yeah. Why am I with characters whose actions don't matter because it's prescribed by God? Like, I don't care about that. That's why I think the Bible's kind of boring.
Wow.
So like I want Rand's decisions at every level to have mattered. And that's why I'm hoping that he's pulling it through Moradin. So it's more about his activity in the scene rather than some outside force just Deus Ex Machinaing power to him.
Yeah, I need to know what the fuck this connection is to Moradin. Joe, thank you for that super duper chat. Let's go.
Do you think you might make one of your listening chapters a Rosamund Pike reading? I haven't heard any of her narrations, but heard great things from Lesbian Nerdy. She's only narrated the first two books, so I don't know if we could do that.
We're already past that, unfortunately.
It seems like she's doing a book a year, and so if we wanted to wait to read The Memory of Light 15 years, which I don't think we're going to do.
No, I don't think so. Sorry.
I don't think we're going to do that.
But it's a cool idea, and I would love to if we could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spooky Ghost says, are we going to react to any other chapters? Yeah, we're doing 39, 40, and 41.
Yeah.
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 39 is the one that we do. We always do one chapter per book. And then
39 was voted on, and
40 and 41 were both commissioned.
Some fucking mad lads in the chat who wanted more. So
yeah. So we do allow people to commission reactions. We try not to, it's expensive because we don't have a lot of time, so we can't do every chapter.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes the power. The connection with Morden is honestly what I'm most curious about right now. Because what does that mean? Does that mean that, like, Lews Therin is also connected with Morden? Does that mean Morden is Lews Therin? Does that mean, like, that...
No. Morden and Rand are connected by the sky fight. They wounded each other in the sky. They both stabbed each other in the sky fight. And in that moment, they became connected.
You think that's why they're connected?
I 1,000% do. I think the horn was blown. I think that the battle over Falma connects them in a way that is like they can't be unentangled from that fight.
Oh, interesting. I just assumed it was older than that.
But Balsamond is in Rand. Like, I think that wound...
Giggity.
Wow, you are fucking... No, not Balsamond. Sorry, Ishamael. Ishamael's in...
Same thing.
Ishamael's wounded Rand is, like, it's there. And it's been there with him the whole time, and he feels it, right? So I think... And now I'm starting to think that Rand's illness, when he tries to grab Saidin, comes from that wound. And it is the true power wants him to take the true power. And the illness is his connection to the true power.
Symptoms.
Yes.
Oh, that's super interesting. I really like that.
Yeah, I think that, like...
That's his withdrawal symptoms because they are connected, and Morden is addicted to the true source.
People in chat are saying that it's the crossing of the streams of Balefire. I don't think it's that. I just don't think it's that. I think that, like, the them literally penetrating each other in the sky battle is more intimate and has affected both of them longer than the Samael fight. Like, they were already connected before that.
Yeah,
they've been in each other's dreams before that. Like, they've had too much connection for it to be that late in the series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Like, the wound on Rand is not something that, like... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if it was their crossing of the streams of Balefire, that just doesn't really make sense to me.
No, honestly,
because it's not about
like,
each other, right?
That's kind of weird, but whatever.
I mean, it's very Ghostbusters, but...
Yeah.
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 And also, like, Rand has had this wound the whole time. And that wound was affected by Padan Fane's dagger. Like, there's a connection to them that's older than all of that. That is obvious and has affected the whole series. Well, it would be very weird for them to be like, Rand has this wound from this guy, but they weren't connected until 10 books later when they did something else.
I mean, yeah, I thought maybe it went back even ages.
No, that's true too.
But I don't know. Like, I have no idea, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? What are we missing? Oh, okay. So Rand
takes control.
Balefires Semiraj and Elsa, and he was like, I was iron, and then I was steel, and I shall now be, and I was like Quendalar, and they're like Quendalar, and I was like, yes.
No, they said Quendiar.
Fuck. Quendiar.
You're welcome.
I don't like Quendiar.
We had a good giggle moment in the reaction as well, so make sure that you catch that.
Oh, God, did we? It's such a serious chapter, and I laughed so hard at that.
Min doesn't want him to be hard, you know?
Min just doesn't want him to be hard.
It's very unfortunate.
She's so concerned. Min doesn't want him to be hard. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Fantastic.
Min doesn't want him hard. That got me. That really...
That was a good moment. And then we get a shift in POV, and we get...
Oh, Sean, don't get me started on Tarvalin.
Don't, yeah.
Oh, no. I hate Tarvalin.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
There's a couple of their pronunciations that I can't. I just... Quendiar doesn't sound like anything to me. Semirag is bad.
Honestly, Quendiar is fine to me, but Semirag and Tarvalin, I cannot.
Also, loyal. Loyal is a word, and, like, loyal is just better, because there's even a point in the reaction yesterday where they're like, he's very loyal, and I'm like, no, loyal's the Ogier.
Yeah.
Because, like, just call him loyal so it's not just the word.
Yeah. But we pop over to final chapter for the section 23. Cat Swain shows up, has no idea what's going on. Goes into the room, yells a little bit. Rand tells her to fuck off or he's gonna kill her, and that's it. Pretty much.
No. No.
Come on, that
Cat
was
Swain
a good
comes
summary.
in like a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And
did you hear me?
I know I'm going into more detail. Cat Swain is a fucking dumbass. Narishma goes to check on Min because Min has a fucking mark on her neck.
You've been waiting to fucking go in on Cat Swain this whole time.
Because she's so stupid, and it bugs me because this woman is supposed to be old and capable, and not old in a bad way, but old in a like she's supposed to have the fucking like sense to bring some goddamn wisdom into the room, and all she brings into the room is negative energy, and like. Oh my God, I was so upset with her until Rand is like, you're exiled. And I was like, thank you. Thank you for treating her the way she deserves to be treated based on her actions. Because she's awful in this scene. Min is there with a fucking choke mark. She knows that Semiraj just attacked them. And she comes into the room and is like, what did you do, boy? And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? How fucking stupid are you? That you would enter the room with that kind of energy, not knowing what happened. And when Rand walks over to the bed and is like, hey, what the fuck is this? And then she's like, how did that get there? And then Rand is like, they found this box in your room. And Cat Swain has the fucking audacity in that moment to be like, how dare you search my room? You fucking idiot. I have been complaining about the way that Cat Swain treats people for books, and I'm so glad that the books are not going to just sweep her activities under the rug as if they're okay. And I am so glad that the books are finally acknowledging that this woman is awful to people, and she does not deserve trust, she does not deserve respect, and she does not deserve a seat at the table of this team of people that are working together to try and save the entire fucking human race. And this one person who believes herself so above everyone else at that table that she is literally ruining it. I redeem the Cat Swain suck shirt. It will return. I was gonna wear it today, but I forgot, and it's not clean. But Cat Swain, like literally, I've never seen a character.
We're about to just have a bunch of people buy the shirt.
I've never seen a character who's been sold to me as being so capable show off how utterly incapable she actually is, and show off a level of inhumanity in a moment of absolute trauma that is just disgusting. Like, Cat Swain's actions in this scene are actually disgusting. These people just went through something awful, and she offers zero empathy to them. If I walked into a room and I saw a woman with a strangulation mark on her neck, my first concern, and it's Narishma's first concern, because Narishma is a goddamn good person. I know that I call him Josh, but he's a good person, and he goes to check on Min because she has fucking marks on her neck. And Cat Swain's first thing is to start bullying the guy that was just fucking tortured by a fucking Forsaken. It is insane how incompetent she is here. Like, it is abhorrent, her behavior. And I was on edge during that reaction, because she was... This is the time when you show compassion, Cat Swain. When you just ask, are you okay? And if she had just done that, it could have gone so differently. Mm-hmm. All she had to do was walk in the room with a little bit of human fucking decency for the people who just went through something awful that she knows was awful. She knows Semiraj was out she just walked through a line of women. I am literally like in pain right now. I'm ranting so hard. I have like a pain in my back when I breathe. She walks through a line of women who are all visibly concerned, and she thinks the way to behave is to walk in the room and be like, what did you do, boy? Not even using his name. Dehumanizing him after he has been dehumanized worse than anything that has ever happened to him.
She doesn't even ask what happened first.
She doesn't. She accuses him. It's awful. It is the worst action that she could have done in that moment. And as someone who has been through some shit and has seen some shit and knows how to... Unfortunately, I've had to like approach people in moments like this in my life, okay? I'm admittedly more sensitive to shit like this because I've been through some shit that I'm not going to talk about here because it's not my story to tell. But I have had to be the person that walks into the room when there is blood on the fucking walls. And the way that you do it is not with her fucking energy. And it made me mad. Like, I hate this person for re-traumatizing a victim of something immediately after it happened without even knowing that your weaves failed and allowed it to happen. Like, she's partly culpable for what happened. And look, I don't really blame her for that. It's she can't control Forsaken.
The dark one is like boom, bada bing, and suddenly it's done. Yeah.
That isn't her fault.
Yeah.
But not taking the time to enter the room and find out what happened before taking the energy that she did, it looks a lot worse for her. Rand has no reason to trust her ever again. No reason. And why should he? What does she bring to the table except a fucking attitude problem that is disgusting?
Yeah. I really hope that my shirt becomes relevant later in the series, but right now I feel embarrassed.
No, I hope she turns around. But, like, she has to grow as a person.
Well, and we talked about this in the reaction, but I don't think anything less than this interaction with Rand could have changed her. Because of how fucking stubborn she is.
Yeah.
Because Rand... Oh, there was a super chat. Go back.
Oh, was there? I'm sorry. My rant missed the super chat.
Yeah, that moment.
Rant, Amor, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
Kat Swain, do you believe that if I simply willed it, the pattern would bend around me to stop your heart? Fucking incredible line. Oh, no. Great. And, like, Rand's response to her in this moment is exactly what it should have been. Like, who the fuck are you to come talk to me like this right now? Semiraj almost... my hand was around the neck of the woman I love, and I had no control. And I had to literally embrace the power of the dark side to fucking get out of it. I just went through hell. And you come in here and call me boy?
Yeah.
You have no empathy? You have no sympathy? You have no kindness? You have nothing? You don't even have a question? You have an accusation and a dehumanizing name? It's everything I was worried Kat Swain was.
She fucked up.
It was everything I was worried she was. And she got what she deserved. That's why it's the name of the it's the name of the podcast this week. She got exactly what she deserved.
Yeah.
Like, you can't fucking treat people like that in a moment of trauma and expect me to give a fuck about, oh no, but I need to advise you. Go advise yourself on how to be a fucking human being, and then you can come back.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I
was so disappointed. But like I said, I think that this has to be a pivotal moment for her.
Mm-hmm.
She either gives up, goes away, and does nothing, and she goes into obscurity, or she realizes that she was wrong.
Yeah.
And she does something about it, right?
100%.
Even if she's not with Rand. Rand is like, if I see you again, I'll fucking kill you. But, she can at least still enact some good and try to not fuck up again. Like...
And I think that's the direction it's going, because the chapter does take the time to point out that Narishma goes to Min.
Yeah.
I think they include him doing that in that moment to foreshadow the journey Kat Swain can go on to understanding, right? I think that, like, it was very pointed. And even reading to it, it was very pointed that Brandon Sanderson included, and Narishma went over to check on Min. When Kat Swain does not.
Yep.
Right?
1000%.
And, like, yeah, everything about that scene, like, Kat Swain fucks up in all of it.
Yeah.
Literally all of it. There's not a single action after she enters that room that is even half okay. And none of it is good. And it's terrible. I'm so disappointed in her, because she's supposed to be the best of them, and she's the worst of them.
Yeah. Yeah, she is the embodiment of the worst of the White Tower.
Yeah.
And hopefully she can understand that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm kind of anticipating her going to the White Tower now and seeing the division there. And I think that the healing of the White Tower might be the healing of Kat Swain. But she needs to find some fucking humility and not view herself above everybody.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Jason Farley, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you so much, Jason.
The people I always have doubts about are the ones who, having read everything, still double down on being fans of Kat Swain.
Well, that doesn't bode well.
I like that Rantalmore says, yeah, but Kat Swain has cool jewelry.
Fair. Her thingy has a name.
Yeah.
I forget what the name is, but her hairnet has a name. C-Sting
brings up the line that I think is the real, like, final nail in her coffin, which is Kat Swain's, "Do you expect me to apologize, boy?" And Ren's, an apology from you? Never.
Yeah, not in this economy.
Even in her indignation, she still calls him boy after she lost the Adam. What? I'm not giving you the pleasure.
Okay.
I didn't catch it. I like
you were
heard it
so
after I heard
angry that you missed the joke. God damn it.
No, I like heard it, but I didn't process it fast enough. Do you know what I mean?
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Just go be ignored.
Anyway, I'm certain. I am 100% certain that when people picked the breakdown of this book, that they did this intentionally.
Oh, that this was the
I
last
think we ended on this chapter because everyone knew that I was going to have shit to say about Cat Swain because of this chapter.
Yeah.
And you know what? I stand by it. This Cat Swain sucks. She's an idiot.
She does suck.
And the terrible thing about it is that she has so much valuable knowledge. And you know what? She probably is really smart and probably really good and probably could really help. But you have to treat people well. And I've been saying this since she was introduced. You have to earn your place at that table. And the way that you do that, the first thing that you do is when you see a woman in danger or in pain, and it's the woman who the man that you want to influence loves, you check on them first. It means something to that man. And it means something to that woman if it's a man who's hurt. People care about their partners more than themselves. That's just a fact of life. And she couldn't even be bothered to check on men or to even ask what happened to her. And like it's just sad. It is indicative of a person who's very lonely, and I think that Cat Swain has been too alone for too long, and I think that she bought into her own hype too much, but it's just sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. CCC, thank you for the super chat. Let's go.
My favorite line, I've seen balefire destroy cities. If I am a child, then what are those of you who are thousands of years my junior? What is that line from?
Who said that? That's not from this book, is it? That's from...
I don't remember that line.
That's from one of the previous...
Rand says Cat Swain in this chapter?
In this scene? Oh.
Oh,
we were talking.
I was mad about Cat Swain.
We were talking about it. Thank you so much for that super chat.
I'm going to go read that chapter. No, it's not in this chapter?
No, it's not. Well...
Is that when she says, like, balefire is forgiven, and he's like...
I've seen thousands burn from the pattern by...
Wow, I missed that line completely. That's so funny.
Yeah. I've seen balefire destroy cities, says Growing Haunted. I've seen thousands burned from the pattern by its purifying flames. If you call me a child, Cat Swain, then what are those of you who are thousands of years my junior?
I think that I was still so bad about her calling him child in this moment.
I think so.
Guys, I was seeing red a little bit in this chapter.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was seeing red a little bit in this chapter. Yeah. I was
But that's why it's a fun reaction.
Yeah. That is a great line.
Because you react to it.
That is a great line. But no, I think she got what she had. She had it coming. Like she
had it coming.
I'm glad. I really liked it too. And this is the thing. I think that I am ranting about Cat Swain, not because I think it's bad writing. I actually think it's very good writing. Because it is the consequences of her actions over the course of books building up to this confrontation, right? And I don't even think it's out of character for Cat Swain to behave the way that she does in this chapter. I don't think it's Brandon Sanderson writing her differently. No. I have been saying that this was coming since we met this woman. And I was right. And I'm glad I was right, because it makes these characters feel like real people who... Rand isn't such a slave to prophecy that he gives into it no matter what. Like Rand... it makes him more real that he goes, Min's prophecy, fuck that. I can't deal with you anymore. I can't put up with this anymore. It makes them more real to me. And that's why I love this chapter. Yes, I'm hot, but I'm only hot because I'm only this spicy about it because it was great. And because it made me feel all of these things. And if it wasn't so good, I wouldn't care as much. But it is great writing. It is an incredible... These two chapters are so well written.
Yeah.
They hit so hard. They're devastating. They're hard. They're brutal. They're violent and angry and awe-inducing in ways and frightening in ways. They're two incredible chapters, and I care so much about what happens to Cadsuane because it is a release of the tension of this character that I've been feeling for books, and it is written so fucking well, and I loved it.
Like, I think it'll be very satisfactory if there is a turn in Cadsuane.
I want character growth. Yeah.
Like, that's really cool. That's interesting, and that's why I don't want to put the book down when I'm reading this one.
I would be very disappointed if she didn't come back. I want to see her realize that she fucked up here.
Yeah.
Because she did. And I want that character growth because it's valuable. And, like, that's what's beautiful about narrative, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I love this writing, and I'm excited for the future of the character, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Sand Danglokta, thank you for being a member for 50 months.
Welcome back to the Nerd Table.
How long will it be until Mid wants Rand to be hard now? Well, he's going to be like Quendalar, you know?
I don't know. I'm a little bit worried that this is the moment where he is cold to Min. Like, that he makes himself truly alone.
Maybe. I don't know, though. Those trousers. I don't know if anyone... Min's hips don't lie.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah. Glenn Peterson.
Glenn, thank you for the super chat. Let's go.
This is the point in the story where Rand finally starts to scare me a little.
Oh, yeah. It was terrifying. Like, just...
Interesting. I didn't get that.
No, the detached coldness. Granted, it's from Cadsuane's point of view. But, like, he is a different person from this moment forward. And he is going to be ruthless. He has renounced his... he had one line that he didn't cross. Only one. And now that's gone. And as soon as you don't have any lines or any more... Like when that is gray and that is weak, that is where the snowball effect happens. And I genuinely am worried for Rand. I'm very scared for him.
It's interesting because I was like, oh, Rand's going to get shit done now. I'm a terrible person. I was reading it and I was like, oh, yes, okay, this character is going to stop kind of just like working. He's like, this character's going to be full action now.
Yeah, you know what? Darth Vader gets a lot accomplished.
I don't think he's going to be evil. He's going to be working against the Dark One.
I don't know.
I just mean like Rand is like, Graendal's now on the table. Like Graendal doesn't get a pass because she's a woman now.
True.
And like, I don't know. He's definitely darker. But I feel like he needs that to win. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to not be hung up on women dying.
Yeah.
And not that I'm like an advocate for that. It's awful. Anyone dying is awful. But like Rand has had this one particular hang up that has influenced a lot of the story.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Before it disappears.
Madeline Montfort, thank you for joining the Nargs.
Welcome to the Nerd Table. Let's go.
MJ Bull says, I like sociopathic characters. No, I like my characters have feelings. Everyone says Amos in Expanse is sociopathic, and I don't agree with that at all. He's definitely he's got his feelings.
Going through the feels at the moment. Yeah. Samantha, look, I know if people aren't being the best in the chat for spoilers, but like the mods are not required to be here. They're here out of the goodness of their heart and are generous with their own time. And
let's not make comments about the mods, guys.
Yeah, they're doing their best, and we had to change our time slot today, and that's not their fault. That's not on them. So let's have some respect in the chat for the mods. Okay, I'm not gonna take any fucking slander at all. That's not tolerated.
Yeah, we changed our time slot at the last minute because of an audition. So like, let's be careful about how we talk about our mods who are not paid to be here. Maybe.
Yeah. Metric, Febu, I know you guys. We really appreciate it. The heck out of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Jason, thank you for that super chat. Darth Rand is best friend. I want to do a Darth Rand cosplay, like a crossover.
I don't want him to be evil.
No, I know. It's just
I just think that like I find characters hitting rock bottom to be the most interesting part of their story. And I've been complaining for books and books and books and books and books about this Forsaken and like the effect that all of the villains have on our heroes is always so minimal. And this is rock bottom for Rand. This is an actual rock bottom moment for him where he kills Semiraj at the end of it, but to do that he has to do something so drastically outside of his own character. And like this is where great characters are built, right? Is what they do from rock bottom. And I've never felt like Rand got there. I felt like we just always kind of like bad things happened, but it was always kind of not as bad as it could be, right? Rand always pulled out the real victory in the end, and some people were lost, but usually they weren't named. And the difference between all of that and what Semiraj managed to do between taking his hand at the end of the last book to now, this arc has been more rock bottom for Rand than anything previous to it. And it makes the future of this character so much more interesting now, because he's actually like hit a wall that he couldn't get through without embracing the literal devil's power. Like this is, I don't know. I don't want to say that Brandon Sanderson is saving the series, because I don't think that that's true. I think this is all from his notes, from Robert Jordan's notes.
This is definitely set up, but
this book has had so much more narrative.
Sanderson knows how to implement it in an impactful way, and working with someone else's work is also very commendable. Yeah.
So I don't know. This book has had so many elements of narrative that were the things I was clamoring for from the previous books. Mm-hmm. And I'm loving it. I think Gathering Storm so far has been really great. I hope we pare down some of the plot lines, but that's it. It's my only complaint is like it goes to many places, but like when each chapter is, other than the Matt chapter,
it's a bit weird.
It's been pretty bang on.
Yeah. That one was a little bit rocky, but yeah.
We need to get you out of here. You've been talking a lot. You have no voice. Let's do high-low. Let's get out of here, and let's talk more about this next week.
That's fair. I think we got through everything.
Yeah. High-low is a segment where we celebrate each other's highs and commiserate over each other's lows, because my family did that around the dining room, and that was kind of our thing growing up. So Clarissa starts with her high, I do my low, she does her low, and I do my high, because we like to compliment sandwich this biche.
Yeah.
Clarissa, what was your high for chapters 13 through 23 of The Gathering Storm?
It's so weird because like I'm gonna kind of put out like two, because they're very like weirdly different. Like reacting to this chapter, the whole like Semiraj stuff had me so on edge, where I can't remember the last time I've really felt like that. Like the horror, like the genuine like waiting for it to happen. I really do want to like commend that and give that a shout out.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't pleasant. You know what I mean? Like I think like the high of the book that like made me this section that made me like the happiest was the moment that Egwene insults Eleda. That just had me fucking cackling. Like that whole scene was so intelligent, so well done. There's so many highs in this section, but like I just had to throw out both of those.
Mega K-Wax, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you so much.
Love the mods. Love that Nerdy made it to this chapter with Cad. I love that that Clara's toughed this one out. You are seriously a trooper.
I'm good, guys. I'm fine.
This woman will never admit that she doesn't feel great.
Have you ever called out of a show?
Yes.
Oh, you told me unless you went on stage with fucking...
I called out of one.
Pneumonia.
I called out of one grandson show because I had they wouldn't let me on stage. I did show up to the theater, but they wouldn't let me on stage because I had
call out.
What was it? Abscesses in my tonsils.
Yeah.
Have I ever actually called out of a show?
Guys, I'm a professional. I don't call out. I just want to be clear, that's a bad attitude to have. You should take care of yourself.
Actually, no, you're right. I have actually never called out of a show.
Yeah, I know, because you've told me that. Mega K-Wags, thank you so much for coming back to the nerd table.
Are we unhealthy in the head?
Oh.
I think we might not be okay.
We've just been indoctrinated into the theater community.
My It is bad. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I've had like every kind of illness and gone on stage with it, except COVID. Fuck, you're right. My low of this section was the Matt chapter. I just didn't really care for it. It didn't do anything. There wasn't any plot to it. It wasn't great. Yeah,
my low is so weird because it's also like kind of the same as my high, because that chapter we reacted to was so hard to listen to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I'm also gonna piggyback onto the mat.
Yeah.
Like it was so forgettable. I genuinely forgot that it had happened. So I think that's all you need to say. That's all I need to say. I think you get the point.
Yeah. My high, I want to add a tiny high, which is right after your high. Egwene joke, the burn, is so good. But then also Egwene getting slammed against the wall and bleeding out of her arms and just standing there, just like, staring at Aleda after it while Aleda rants and screams. Great. But no, my high is chapter 23. I think I don't take pleasure in Cadsuane being exiled.
But you like seeing a character have consequences.
But I like... I don't want people to think that I, like, hate Cadsuane. It's not that I hate Cadsuane. It's that Cadsuane has been presented in a way that I think deserves consequences. Mm-hmm. And when narratives don't give their characters consequences for the way they treat one another, I feel it ruins narratives for me because real people are very emotional and they don't like to be treated poorly. And when you treat them poorly, they respond. And seeing a character in the Wheel of Time, which has not always been the best for communication... have Rand communicate that the way that Cadsuane has treated him is not acceptable was very nice. And I really loved it. And I think that it is a very well-written chapter that got me very hot under the collar, admittedly. But it did that...
got you hot.
Hot under the collar. I finished that sentence. And I think that it is a very well-written release of tension within the story that was very necessary. And I really liked it. I think I liked a lot of the reading this week, but the chapter 23 was my favorite part.
I just am so curious how people felt like 4 books ago when we first met Cadsuane. And I was like, yeah, Cadsuane's fucking great. Yeah, let's go, Cadsuane. Like, I just like, man.
I was admittedly confused.
Yeah, like, y'all probably judging me so hard. Not that I could have known that, like, this was what was going to happen, but goddamn.
Look, if Shora Agdashalu gets cast as Cadsuane can get me hot all she wants. I'm just going to say it.
Fair. Mommy?
Mommy? Like, she is more woman than I can handle, but I would do my best.
You know what? Your best's pretty good. You do a commendable job.
I don't know. She would chew me up and spit me out. I would not survive that encounter, but...
Probably not, but it would be worth it.
I do, yeah. Here's the thing. I think that Cadsuane on the show will not be like this character at all.
I don't think quite so unless the consequences come sooner, they're not dragged out. Like, unless the purpose is that this character has a really hard lesson to learn.
Well, I just don't think it'll be dragged out for so long because of the condensed seasons.
Yeah.
So, like, I think you'll only get a few scenes of her being the worst instead of books of it.
Yeah. For sure.
If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't,
sure you like it.
You're a terrible person. Look at how hard Close worked with her.
Yeah.
With no voice today to bring you content.
So hard working.
Even if you dislike this podcast, look, she worked so hard. And she doesn't work hard at anything.
No, I never put any work or effort into anything.
You are so lazy.
I know.
She just sits in her lazy boy chair all day doing nothing.
Yeah. That's why I married you, so that you could do it for me.
If you want to follow us around the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Polaris.
And as always, if you don't want to listen to Smut Corner, leave now.
Or forever hold your peace.
Yeah.
Amen. So...
how often do you think Avienda masturbates thinking about Rand right now because she can't go to him? Because it's a lot.
Yeah, it's not 0, because she's probably so frustrated with these punishments that she's been getting.
It's the only necessary thing she's doing.
She needs some kind of release. There's no fucking way. You can't...
Do you think the Aiel have, like, a weird, like, unique form of masturbation?
What do you mean by unique?
I don't know. I just feel like with maiden hand talk, I feel like I feel like they would come up with, like, they have short spears. Do you think they're...
Just like what? Like, what is a unique way of masturbating?
I don't know. There are many unique ways of masturbating.
I feel like generally it all leads to the same place.
I don't think you have enough imagination.
Sure. You know
I think the spears, I think that you throw the spear in the ground and then you can kind of just like squat on it. They've got great legs.
But they're like wooden.
Yeah, so dildos were wooden for most of human history.
I don't like thinking about that. No. I mean, they could, the spears.
Yeah.
They just, like, round the edges a little bit. That's fair.
Who else is fucking? Perrin and Fael definitely fucking.
Oh, that's all
we
they've
didn't
been
talk
doing.
about it.
What?
The scene where Fael is like, I fucked him so hard. How is he awake? How did we forget to talk?
I forgot about that.
The plot of that scene is more important, but like there is a whole section of this where where do we add sex into this? We know that Min and Rand are fucking like crazy because Avienda's like upset about it,
100%.
and Fael intentionally fucks Perrin so much because she needs to sneak out to give Roland a funeral.
Yeah.
That she like is like, there's no way he's awake. I wore the fuck out of him.
Yeah, no, they're fucking getting nasty.
How did we not discuss that in the podcast?
Those Saldaean farm
Oh my
girls.
god, it's so funny.
I don't know what the Saldaean's trick is, but goddamn.
Guys, book clubbers, I got a question for you. When we started this podcast, people told us not to get spicy. They were like, this is not a sexual series. What the fuck were those people talking about? What Wheel of Time series did those people read? Because in this section,
we bought the wrong book.
Avienda is like, I need to turn my bond off because I don't want to feel them fucking if I can't be in the fucking. And Fael literally is like, I fucked that man so good, he should be dead for a week.
Yeah.
What people at the beginning of this were like, this series is PG.
Yeah. I don't know,
they
but
were
they were
so upset
wrong.
about Smut Corner. And now it's like hard to... It's hard to add Smut Corner to the book at this point because all of the people who can consensually have sex are fucking.
They're all fucking. Honestly, I can't. I think that Cat Swain, Sora Leah probably fucking too. Oh, you show me traveling? Oh, I'll show you this.
Oh, shit.
Sora Leah, Cat Swain?
I mean, we know that Aleda and fucking Midani are fucking, unfortunately, but like, we know they are.
That's true.
I mean, all of the novices want to please Egwene, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone offered to be pillow friends with her.
No, I think they'd be too scared. Oh my god, that's... Yeah.
Matrix says it's not as overt as George R. R. Martin. I don't know how much more overt you can get than Fael being like, I wore that man out.
I think it's because it's the difference between this and like actual smut.
And that's our show, y'all. Thank you for a great podcast. Clarus, you're a trooper. At some point, one of us is going to have to call out of something.
Nope.
All right. Well, until next week, I don't know what chapters we're reading to. It's all in the Discord. Join the Discord if you're not in the Discord.
37, I think.
Oh, so all of the reactions will be the week after that.
I think so.
Ooh, the week after next, we have a lot of reacting to do. Y'all, thank you for a great stream. Thank you to our mods. A reminder, don't talk shit about our mods. We will kick you.
Yeah, that's your only warning. Don't let it happen again.
But also, like, as we get to the end of the series, I feel like discussions are going to get a little bit closer to what's happening in the books. And I think that we all just need to be, if we ask about something that happened in book 2, it's okay that people answer that. Let's all be kind to each other.
Yeah, if we don't ask, don't tell us.
Yeah.
That's for us to find on a reread, which is really, really fun. But if we ask, that's fine. Like, you can, yeah. I know I know it's a weird thing. A lot of people like those clarifications. I'm sorry, we do it a little bit differently, but please try your best to respect that.
But just know that the people who are our mods they were not given that position lightly. We care about them. They are our friends, and we will not take any disrespect towards them. That's where we're going to end the show. Yeah. Thank you so much for mods, for everything that they do. Thank you to everyone for being here. This was a fun one. I cannot wait to see what God Swain is up to next week. God, I hope she self-reflects a little bit. But until then, do something nerdy tonight, and I'm going to go put Claris in a nice hot bath. Bye.
Bye, guys.